It's the final month of the Malevolent Movies presents The Fight for Summer Fright. Welcome to the August Malevolent Madness, where our camps compete to dredge up the worst of the worst. First up is Gastronaut Camp with an animated fantasy film that is full of nightmares. So get on your computer, put in a weekend of work, and then render out your movie, because you're about to be tortured with the 2016 film Trolland.
All right, hey everybody, welcome to Malevolent Movies, the podcast, episode number 25. The fight for Summer Fright continues. We have entered our third and final month of the competition, and it is going to be the toughest month because it is the month where we try to torture each other by finding the worst movies, not worst in a fun, entertaining way like usual, but seriously shit that makes us want to quit the channel type of movies. And we've been each given a different genre than horror. So to kick everything off, it's the Gastronaut Camp. And they were given fantasy for their genre. Who is responsible? Which one of you gave us Trolland, which is the title
Trolland.
we had the view?
I'm going with Trolland.
Or Trolls with a Z.
Yeah.
Troy should have had a lot more Z's after that, too.
Hey, got him.
I'm going to give this one a Joe.
Okay. So
Joe
me and Tyler. Listen.
Smell that coming.
Mm-hmm. Me and Tyler, we were trolling through the IMDb keywords. We were looking for fantasy, but we needed summer, and that was the big sticking point. So we looked through a bunch of different stuff. And like Pippi, one of the Pippi Longstocking sequels came up at one point.
Scottie Pippen Longstocking.
Yeah.
I'd absolutely watch that.
Well, that's the issue. Everything we were looking at was too good. It was too well made, too highly produced. So we were looking for maybe a couple hours, I believe it was.
Joe was adamant on animation, and I was trying.
You were not doing research for 2 hours, Joe. Get the fuck out of here.
No. It was probably like 30 minutes of me going on IMDb advanced search and Joe just typing in animated fantasy movie.
No. How I found it was keyword fantasy/summer camp. So I was looking for just summer camp movies because I figure, maybe there'll be like some new stuff in here. And then I saw the poster. And I was like, no, yes. And yeah, I looked it up. It satisfied all the keywords. It's got big name actors. It's got lots of things going for it. And yeah, I picked it.
I'm glad we were on the same page. I knew from the beginning I wanted an animated movie as well. So
yeah.
Good job,
Well, I
Joe.
appreciate that. I
Thank
appreciate that. The way my heart sunk when I saw that trailer, because it's understood how I feel in general about the animation. So I feel like this was personal on a certain level. I felt that it was personal.
Ryan, I felt it was personal too. All right, because I'm jumping into the game late here. All right, had a very busy couple months. Okay, I've been keeping track, and I finally get on board. I'm excited to jump in to the mix. And then all of a sudden, I'm slapped in the face with this god-awful D-movie Trolls bullshit, and I have to watch this on the daily, okay? I've got a 2- and 4-year-old. I put up with this shit every single day. And I come to Malevolent Movies for some relief, for some data time, and you fuckers set me up with Trolls with a Z.
Mm-hmm. I think this could be your kid's new favorite movie.
You're one episode behind, buddy. You should have been there for Lumberjack Man. You would have loved it.
Oh, yeah.
You'd like it.
You're going to love Lumberjack Man.
Can I say this about Trolland, whatever we're going to call it, the extra L? I showed it to my 2-year-old. I was excited because I was like, you know what? I could get my kids involved in Malevolent movies.
Yeah.
There was something exciting about this. I could share the experience with them, right? My 2-year-old, okay, who has the attention span of a 2-year-old and watches a grown man with suspenders jerk off. Let's flip it. He takes shits on his friends.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
That was a good one.
My 2-year-old made it exactly 3 minutes into Trolland before he told me to turn it off.
That says something.
That was his first words. Turn it off.
Enough.
But it was the voice of Dick Van Dyke coming out of the channel.
Oh, God.
He also, I mean, we'll get into this, but my 2-year-old also thought it was a movie about frogs. If that is any estimate of how bad the animation is.
Hey, I get it.
Yes.
Danny, can we see the frog movie again?
It's like that Mucinex commercial with the snot guys.
Phlegm
There's
guys,
no-
yeah.
Hey, but people like the phlegm. I mean, that advertisement's been around for decades. It's an institution.
Honestly, if this movie was about mucus, guys, I would give it a half star more.
Okay.
I'd like, you know what I mean?
They were living in like a hairy nose.
Yes. Yeah. See, now we're talking.
Nick and Joe, why do you feel like you were lied to? What is the false advertising here?
All right, I'll drop the poster in the group chat. 1 second. Save it. Download. Drop.
Joe's designing it right now.
Yeah.
He's adding all sorts of weird shit into it.
I'm just adding like one of the troll's crooked little green penises like on the side, hoping that people fall for it.
God.
So look at this. So the troll itself, it looks like much better than the actual troll does.
I don't want to say much better.
Okay, that's fine. There's a live action boy's feet, implying that it would be kind of like a blend of CGI and live action, like maybe a Garfield situation, like an Alvin and the Chipmunks. And look at where his feet are. They're in a magical, mystical world with like a cool castle and like candy walls and stuff.
That's very true. That's very true.
Yeah, I would give this
none of that.
Because I looked at this. I didn't watch the trailer. I didn't bother. But I saw this poster and I did think that it was going to be like, oh boy, okay, they shot some low budget piece of shit. They got one troll. They're going to insert. Going to be. I'm serious. That's what I thought this was going to be. So I think they get full marks for this because I was like I got the full experience.
Also, the secret below your feet. Maybe I misread the movie. Are they underground?
They're underground.
Oh, I don't know if you caught the special reference to Virus Shark, but there was a topside reference.
Oh, I have that written down. It's in my section.
Yep.
The top,
so that, to me, that
absolutely.
says underground. Nothing says underground like topside.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah. Okay. Because they live in some place called the Warren.
Yes.
I
Yeah, like
cannot
almost like
understand
rabbits.
a lot
Rabbits
of the
who
words in
fuck.
this.
So I didn't know if the Warren was underground.
Joe, go pound that White Claw.
Okay, I'll get more drunk again.
Yeah, but you'll be polite.
Yeah, because it'll be time to get your final section.
I'd also like to add that when you see Dick Van Dyke's name, you
Van
think
Dyke.
you're immediately, if your first thought is quality, this is going to be a quality film. They paid good money for Dick Van Dyke to be in this picture. He gave it his all. You could not be further from the truth. And that, to me, personally, I think constitutes false advertising.
Well, and then not only do we have Dick Van Dyke, we also have Jerry O'Connell, who is Vern from Stand By Me. He's also Charlie and Kangaroo Jack. And he's in Mission to Mars. Yeah, he is.
And he starred in Sliders.
Yeah.
Got a
Love
huge
that show.
surprisingly.
We also have Ja Rule, Chris Daughtry from American Idol, and T-Boz from TLC. And there's not all 5 names on this poster are music people, or people somewhat, maybe not O'Connell, I can't remember, but 4 of the 5 at the very least have musical inclinations. And nobody sings a fucking song in this movie?
No. We were ripped off.
Daughtry his character does a goofy, I'm gonna be famous.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
But yeah, it's like you get these names that are famous for something, and they do none of the things they're famous for in your movie. It's like T-Boz doesn't do rap. She doesn't, or sing or do anything. Ja Rule doesn't rap or anything. I mean, yeah. And Dick Van Dyke does some, some narration. I will say that the Dick Van Dyke connection, his grandson, Shane Van Dyke, is a big part of The Asylum, has written and directed. I think he might have even wrote Titanic 2 or starred in it or something. So I think not that Dick Van Dyke didn't get paid, of course, I'm sure he did, but that was the big get, is because the family connection.
Yeah, you get Dick Van Dyke, and then with that comes Ja Rule. Like
T-Boz,
speed dial.
Well, they were touring together, I believe.
Did anybody else feel like Van Dyke aged considerably throughout this film?
Oh yeah,
his voice just kept getting.
He just got dustier
and worse. Yeah.
I think they caught him. I think they caught him right before he was going to take a nap, and they were like, "You can just crank as many of these out as possible." And then by the end, he was pretty much asleep, and they were just like, "It's fine. We're not getting him for a second take. It's fine."
Well, I'm convinced that not all of Hayden's lines were Jerry O'Connell. There are several times where I'm like, that does not sound like the same cat. Like, there's something going on here.
Yeah.
I'm sure Jerry walked out of the sound booth several times. He's like, I'm done. I'm going
to Piranha again.
Here's $5,000 more, Jerry. Come back.
Did anybody do research? Was this movie, did they start doing this like over a decade ago and then finally finish it and release it in 2016? Because something about it felt so like 10 years ago.
So I think I was looking into it. They wanted to beat Trolls to theater. So this came out in October 2016. Trolls was coming out in November 2016. So I think what happened was this wasn't supposed to be about Trolls. This was probably started and supposed to be about something completely different, gnomes, elves, whatever. And they were like, we have to get this out now. Like we have to get it out before Trolls comes out. And that's why I think literally not a single frame of this entire movie is finished. Like I think they had a lot of assets ready to go and they just threw it together and rushed it out. Well, that's why I think it looks so old. Not a single asset is done.
You're implying that the Asylum would ever finish assets and that this was a rush job to like, oh, we got to get it. No, this is pretty consistent with what you'd expect from the Asylum.
Right.
Oh, this is their all because it's not like they're like, oh man, we're not going to make our deadline, but we have to do it anyway. It's like, nah, this is it. This is the thing. This is the final product.
And it was a second animated film, too.
Those T-poses that I sent you guys of the character designs are from a gentleman by the name of William Vaughn. He has an ArtStation account. And he says, earlier this year, my friend Ron Thornton, the director of the movie, asked me to design and model several characters for a movie he was directing at the Asylum about trolls called Trolland. These are the characters I created before production started. I was excited to hear that one of the characters was voiced by Dick Van Dyke. He mentions the other actors. Haven't seen anything from the movie, but with the production schedule they had, it should be ... interesting. So he must have written that before the movie came out. So I'm guessing that he got them the designs and they're like, oh, great, this will be out in a month. And he's like, what?
Yeah.
Because the designs look good like on the raw model side. Yeah. So then there's a couple comments on here. I have seen it and it was interesting. But if I could be honest, I love the designs. Man, you made models... Man, you models, I think it means your models, are beautiful, but they didn't do anything with them. What did they use to render the film? And he says they used Unreal. Really wanted this to be something cool. Not sure what went wrong. And then one person left a comment that said, these faces still haunt my dreams.
They are frightening. They're just
in a perpetual smile the entire time. And you can tell that there was some crude motion capture to get the performances of everything, because if you ever watched someone doing like VR stuff, they got the hands like it's like kind of shaky the way that there's a lot of that in here. It's like, oh, first take, great, it's done.
Oh yeah,
and sometimes it doesn't match up with the model. So like Dick Van Dyke Troll, his hands are just like moving in like weird.
Well, also
weird
his
ways.
Eyes are perpetually facing the back of his head.
Yes.
That was really dark.
Yeah, there's and his are almost always that way, but that happens to every character a couple of times where the pupil just disappears or the eye rolls independent from the other eye. It's just I don't want to recommend anyone watch it, you know what I mean? But it needs to be seen to be truly understood.
It is I was going to say it's free on Tubi, so if you want to pop it on, just check it out. Maybe roll through it a bit.
The whole movie's also available on YouTube.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that. Okay.
Yeah. Just log into Tubi, create an account, check your email for verification. Well, so Joe and Nick, let's save your rage reviews until after we're done.
Okay.
And then we'll discuss those then. But who's up first? Because we got a ways to go.
It's me.
Okay, Gooby.
Okay, hold on. Let me pull up my extensive notes.
Writing notes for this was difficult.
Yeah.
It is weird. Yeah, not much happens in kids' films, I guess. So it's like a bit different than
this kid's film, Joe.
Yeah.
Okay.
This kid's film.
All right, Nick, you ready?
All right. So we open on an old man reading gibberish for a quick paycheck.
It starts instantly.
Yeah, no, there's nothing.
Dick Van Dyke is. Oh yeah, history says trolls are real.
He didn't know this wasn't going to be a Shrek movie.
But he sounds great.
Yeah, he does. So it's like it's like a storybook opening, like Shrek. It opens with like reading the story, the history of the trolls. We just hop right into it. The first trolls lived in peaceful isolation in the forest, frolicking in nature and shit. Bunch of just they're in harmony with the world, kind of like Tom Bombadil's. One day a man arrives and trolls focus all their energy on fucking with them. And I guess that becomes their whole world, their whole personality, just fucking with mankind. Quote, the old trolls took great joy in tormenting mankind, which sounds less whimsical than it is. It became the centerpiece of their entire their whole world is just, we're gonna fuck with man. It became I wasn't sure. So they say this was called the Prankapalooza, but they don't really specify. There's a gap of information in there. They just say this became called the Prankapalooza, but their entire lifestyle, this period of time, is it like we find in the movie that it's kind of like a government, like you become the queen of pranks or whatever the fuck.
But I think it's just an event. It's like a competition. But
they don't specify that. They just say like this became the Prankapalooza, but like it's their whole world.
It's their
built
economy.
Yes.
Yeah. Maybe it's a year-round event. Like whoever wins is the prank queen or king for the year, and then the other trolls have a year to catch up.
I guess I just would have liked more specificity, I guess.
Well, we also don't learn. I mean, the movie, is this it for trolls? They all live in this one section of the world where this camp is, or is there like larger?
We are led to believe that they have been around since, according to the animation, I guess they're like Nordic, like Viking times. They're fucking with Vikings.
Yeah.
And then the Vikings just kind of settled in this forest in, I don't know, like Indiana or some shit. We don't know. But the trolls were forgotten, but live on in song and legend for man. Man forgot that they were there. And here we are at the Asylum Presents Trolland.
You know it's going to be a good film when you see that two letters come up.
If you didn't know that this was an Asylum movie, well, here you go. There's your warning. So we begin in this just grossly rendered forest, and we're following a dragonfly. So to be clear, everything is CG. It's disgusting. Pretty sure they just grabbed assets from a lot of different places and just put them together to make it as fast as possible.
Well, there's a couple times where like there is like super high detail, lifelike textures and like props
reflections in their eyes. I was surprised by that. You see in the close-ups, you see the reflection of the person they're talking to in their eyes. They do sometimes go real good with the detail, but man, that's few and far between.
Did you find the meaning of life in this movie, Ryan?
I found the meaning of what life shouldn't be. I found that sitting on a Sunday afternoon, a beautiful Sunday afternoon in the summertime, watching fucking Trolland is not what life should be. So from a certain point of view, I did.
Okay.
Anytime there's like CG animation, it's you kind of have to compare it to like a video game. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of how I got stuck in this. Like part of me thinks that like they just stole like environments from video games, like assets, like the texture, like all of the nature and stuff. Like I don't want to say like Fallout because it's like, you know, burned and dead, but like
Skyrim.
It's Skyrim. You like go, let's say you see the grass in Skyrim and you like move the camera into that. It's like that level of detail. Like it looks good from the camera angle it's supposed to be. When you get down there, it's like that level, and like that's where most of the movie takes place.
Yeah, well, it was rendered in a video game engine, so
I was gonna say, they said they used Unreal. It also looks like there's a lot of times where it looks like there isn't really a background. They just have a giant rendering or a fucking JPEG of this camp, and then everybody else just moving on top of it, all loosey-goosey. Yeah. Nothing makes sense. They're not hitting the ground. They're not displacing any kind of air or dirt or grass or fucking anything. They're not casting shadows. Light doesn't exist. It looks like shit. It's like this looks worse than half of the shit I had to sit through at my fucking film school, like during my animation classes. This looks worse than that.
Sometimes appendages move independently, like Usup. His moles are floating sometimes. He's got these two lumps on the side of his head, and there was multiple times where they're floating independently of him.
It's hard to keep things attached to the models.
Yeah,
it's not, though.
I did want to. I'm glad Trevor brought that up because I was curious because I think of all of us, he has a unique perspective on this, closer than anyone else anyway. So yeah, just it's gross. It's disgusting.
It really is.
But anyway, don't want to read this anymore. So we're following this dragonfly through this stolen environment.
Do it for Dick.
Yep, doing it for Dick. Hashtag do for Dick.
That's our hashtag for the whole series.
Yep.
This whole SummerSlam.
So as we're moving through, we see some of the names of the co-conspirators on this plot to steal money from DreamWorks. Of the names, there's Jerry O'Connell, Ja Rule, and Old Man Dick, etc. But there's only 5 people in this whole movie. So, yeah. I mean, that's it. There's 2 young campers playing a Game Boy, which the Asylum also knocked off.
Oh, that's the Asylum game lad, sir.
Yeah.
And they're playing trolls.
Nothing is sacred. This wretched-faced woman appears out of nowhere and confiscates them, and says that they're off for a hike, and she's not taking no for an answer. Almost doesn't matter. I don't think we see these. I can't tell if we see these kids again.
All of the campers except for the bullies and the lead are identical.
Yes, yeah. Same for the trolls as well. There's one model for generic campers. There's one model for generic trolls and one model for generic child trolls, which just look like they stole a model for a baby and turned it green. We'll get there. Let's see.
Oh, yeah. Is it Adrian? Is that the character's name?
No, Adrian's the bald bully. Why do I?
But that's the baby model that you're talking about, right, Nick?
Well, that's a human.
Yeah.
Adrian's a human. He's the fat, bald human, and Flint is the human with the mohawk.
Ryan, I just want to say that your brain is part of your brain's valuable real estate is now taken up by knowing those names.
I know, and I won't ever. And the thing is with me, man, I'll never forget it. No matter what I do, I'll always remember Fintoozler and Oppenhop and Sapseat. I'll never forget these fucking characters ever.
They're with you.
Well, I think you should keep them close to your heart and the lessons they inspire in us.
This movie's like a virus. It's like, I don't know.
Kind of like The Ring. Like if you see it, you got 7 days, buddy.
Watching this movie like does that thing that you can do in like old video game, like where you can like inject arbitrary code by like doing like random shit.
Yeah.
It does that to your brain. Like this movie is a visible like a virus for the eyes, and we're all gonna die. Anyway, nothing matters in this movie. Somewhere in the brush, there's a man baiting a trap. And it goes off and transforms from a metal cage into a sack on a rope, and it's filled with a squirrel. And squirrel's pissed, escapes. The squirrels start throwing acorns, and it kind of sounds like he calls them a slur. I don't know.
Oh, he says a lot of wacky shit.
Yeah. Bugaboo, he says that quite a bit.
Yeah, I feel like
a couple S-bombs for sure.
But like he keeps saying it over and over again, like it's a thing that we're supposed to know. It's not like a one-off, like he's just making up a silly words. Like this is a specific name he has for something. Mostly, I guess, little troll people. I don't know.
Well, Bugaboo is a word.
Is it?
Yeah. Hold on. I had to look it up
like
just to make sure.
It's like a company name too.
It is an object of fear or alarm.
He doesn't seem that. He just seems like, you know, I don't know.
Whenever his pants rip, I thought I saw a little bit of shit in there. So maybe he was so scared of the trolls that he vacated a little bit.
Well, speaking of shit in his pants, what is his name? Is it Sagobottom?
I got his whole name. Hold on.
I know it's Olaf, but like in this part, I thought I heard it as Sagobottom.
Yeah, that's his last name.
Okay, but then I thought I heard
Olaf.
Okay.
That is wasting time. It'll come up in my part, but he's got like 4 names. He's got a really long name, but Olaf is his first name. And
well, he rips his pants, but he moves around like he shits his pants, and then the rip in his pants disappears because there's a lot of issues with the animation. And some boys show up, and sounds like they're voiced by hostages because they're clearly not like voice actors in a booth. They are just, you can hear, it sounds like they're speaking through a hallway. And the trolls steal the cookies. He was baiting the trap with cookies, and the trolls come and they take them. And now we are in Trolland. Interior troll cave. Things just start to clip through each other and themselves. The objects have no sense of like collision, like Trevor was saying. There's no weight. They're just moving inside of their own bodies. But anyway, Ja Rule the troll, little big head troll, Ja Rule voice.
Hey, stop describing Ja Rule as he is. That's so mean.
Yeah.
I know he did the whole Firefest thing, but come on, he's still a human.
Yeah, he's important. He's an important actor.
He has to pay for what he's done.
Yeah,
we don't say ludicrous. We don't say ludicrous around Ja Rule because of the whole Fast and Furious. He could have been. He could have been in all these Fast and Furious.
Tej, but he walked away.
Chris Daughtry is a bastard.
Oh yeah.
Okay, because Chris Daughtry put his heart into this.
Yeah.
Misguided. Unnecessary. Ja Rule, complete opposite. He knew what he was doing. Oh, $50,000 for my voice? Yeah, fine. Blah, 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 blah. While eating his, like, bran oat cereal so he can take a dump. And I felt for Ja Rule. I'm like, you know what? I actually appreciate that you're not trying because you're not lying to me. Chris Daughtry's lying to me. He's trying to make me feel for this Olaf guy. I feel nothing.
This is my take on it. I didn't think that he was just phoning it in. I figured that they contacted him, they wanted him, and he did it. He gave it his best performance. He thought he was doing great. I'm sure they just kept saying after the first take, yeah, it's great, Mr. Ja Rule. And he's like, okay,
Mr. Rule.
I guess I'm doing good. I don't think he was trying to purposely phone it in. I don't think he had any idea that this wasn't going to be like a DreamWorks flick. Probably the same for Dick Van Dyke. I don't know. I can't imagine. I can't imagine you would sign on to this knowing full well what the end product is going to be. Yeah. I have to imagine there was some deceit there.
Can the Asylum claim, like, you know how like you create a company for each movie that comes out? Oh, it's Trolls Inc. is making this movie.
Yeah, they can totally do that if they want.
Nothing with the Asylum on it anywhere. So that way people are like, oh, it's a new up-and-coming animation studio. Like, oh, okay, yeah, sure. We'll give it a shot, But hey, Chris Daughtry's here. So is T-Paz, or what was her name?
Yeah, well, I mean, you gotta give Ja Rule some defense. Say they sold it to him as, okay, we've got Jerry O'Connell, we've got T-Boz from TLC,
Dick Van Dyke.
Like Dick Van Dyke, Daughtry. He's like, oh, this is a legit film. Like, yeah, I'm in. Let's do this. Like, I mean, it's not easy to fool Ja Rule. We know this. Okay, the's history there.
But Dick Van Dyke is not going to know the difference between this and Shrek. He's not going to know.
No.
Yeah.
No.
But his grandson, like I said, works for the Asylum.
But do you think his grandson was just sitting there like very pensive, like, I don't know if I should do this to Grandpa. I don't know if I can do this, but I have to. They're telling me.
He pulled his phone out and he showed him a picture of the troll design and he said, Shrek. And then he had that moment where he sat there for 30 seconds in silence thinking, do I tell him it's not Shrek? Yeah, Gramps, it's Shrek.
You know that Shrek. You know that they pressured him into, you got to get your grandpa to sign on. We got to get your grandpa.
Sure.
I don't know. I don't know if I can do this. I'm not that close with Grandpa.
They built the animation side of the asylum after he joined on.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it was at Easter dinner. He's sitting there, he's sighing, he's poking at his ham. He's not, and Dick's like, "What's the matter? What's the matter?" Shane. And he's like, the company I work for, Titanic 2, Transmorphers. Yeah. We need this stoic older gentleman, maybe somebody with some classic 40, 50, 70, 80 years of entertainment behind him.
Wait, shut up, grandson. Do you see the penguin over there? It's singing and dancing to me. It wants my attention.
So he's like, I'll come by. Thursday, I have to have dinner at 4, so I'll come by about 4:30. Will I have to take my meds with my dinner, so I may be a little loopy, but I mean, you put the DVD on there, the Dick Van Dyke on there, no one will care. You know what I mean?
For those that don't know, Dick Van Dyke is an older gentleman.
He's 95 or 96.
Yeah,
I mean, he's legit. Yeah, but the thing about Dick Van Dyke is, we make jokes, whatever, and some of his narration's a little mushy. It's probably because of dentures or whatever. The dude's 100% there. I just watched an interview with him. He's 100% lucid, and he was touring or something just like a year and a half ago singing. So the guy, he's still with it.
What's your excuse, Joe?
Just a little tooth glue slippage on my part. I'm sorry, people.
Tooth glue slippage.
If it was revealed that Joe had a full set of dentures, I would not be surprised.
Yeah.
Joe bites into a white claw, they just fall out.
Mm-hmm. That's the greatest gift that you could get somebody in like the 19th century, is to have all of their teeth ripped out and a brand new fancy set of dentures, because they're just all going to rot out eventually.
Speaking of, I dropped an image in the chat featuring Joe without teeth.
These are my favorite.
Damn. If you have any requests, please send them my way.
Yes. You can tweet those to us for your own Jodo shop requests.
Oh, shit. Sorry. I accidentally put it only in my chat with Zach, because it was Zach's request. This is Zach's fault.
Oh, God.
I don't regret my request.
You shouldn't. Oh, don't worry. I think our pick's going to have some Jodo shop potential.
Anyway,
I think so.
Ja Rule the Troll, Fenn, something. I could
Fenn. Fenn. Fenn.
Whatever. It doesn't. We're just gonna call him Ja Rule.
It sucks shit. It's
I don't understand why.
Why not Ben or Finn? Why you gotta do why
Jarvik? Why not Jarvis?
Because
why Jarvis?
They're trolls.
What about Soggy Bottom?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think? I'm going to throw this out there real quick because this comes up. Do you think it's a reference to Flynn from Star Wars? Because there are several Star Wars references. The lead.
There's a couple Star Wars lines in here,
and then they straight up do the "Oh, you're lying! It's impossible."
Yeah,
and they call the other trolls younglings at one point. That's the way I thought. Well, maybe
I think it's
Star Wars goofs in there.
Yeah, I think they're just a bunch of Star Wars nerds that can't help it. They can't help themselves.
It doesn't sound like the Asylum to just rip things off of other properties.
No, of course not.
They would never try to suck up that Star Wars sequel trilogy dollars.
So Ja Rule is packing. Yeah. And more trolls show up, the same ones that we just saw. And they show up and they've cut cookies, and they are pissed. They are pissed that Ja Rule appears to be packing. He's neglecting his troll duties, life. I don't know. I already starting to tune out.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Nick. While he's packing, does he ever actually unzip his book bag, or does he just drop things apparently behind him and they disappear into thin air?
They're going through the model
bag.
Yeah,
okay. Everything clips. Everything clips.
That's a theme for this. They're not going to model an expensive zipper animation. It's just there are scenes where they try to pass off nothing in their hand. Is like, here's some food, eat it, and then they just move their hand, and then the other person is holding it. They don't even put it to their mouth. Like, that was good.
My jaw dropped when I saw Olaf's naked back because his clothes were in his body.
Yep.
Yeah. I wonder if they modeled him fully nude. I wonder if that's just like a model on somebody's hard drive.
That was actually Chris Daughtry, man. Have you seen? He let himself go. He lost the Fuel audition, so he got upset.
He turned that down, Ryan, and you know that's the truth.
I do know that. But Joe doesn't fucking know. Joe, do you know there's a band called Fuel?
What, like gamer fuel? Yeah. I like Monster.
This is the burning question I had, and I know it's not true, but I wanted to believe it was that the voice actors were also doing the motion capture for their characters, because I wanted to see Dick Van Dyke doing his thing. I wanted to see all of them I want to see little Ja Rule just trying to. If that were, then they would have earned their money. I would have accepted that. Anyway, some vague threats are exchanged. It's not important what's going on. His sister's bad. He's good. His sister is running to be the prank queen. And I guess there's a point system for how many pranks you do and what the quality of prank you do to be the prank king or queen. She's going for it though. Now we go to, I guess, I don't know, like a pre-ceremony.
It's like a pep rally.
I figured it looks kind of like it was like Hogwarts to me, like a couple weeks before the final ceremony.
Sure,
yeah. If
all
everyone
the trolls
at Hogwarts
are gathered into a big thing,
if everyone at Hogwarts was an identical clone of one another,
they all drank some polyjuice potion.
Yep.
Gryffindor.
If I haven't said this, they're underground in some little cave. Definitely not the underground from the poster. So
the underground we were promised.
If you watch
it's the
this
underground
far,
stolen from A Bug's Life.
Yep. So Dick the Troll shows up.
For Dick.
He's a bigger troll. He kind of just, and what's hilarious about his animation is he doesn't have feet modeled. He just kind of floats wherever he's going. So like later on, you have to see him like running, and he just kind of like a weeble wobble.
He just wobbles everywhere.
It's covered by his cloak. Yes. It's like you don't see the legs moving under the cloak.
Yeah, and also another note about the animation here, like you see he's wearing like robes. You see the sister troll's character has hair. Any of these things that should have like gravity don't. So they're just like stiff, rigid things. So like her braids might as well be like made of bone because they just like move wherever her head goes. It all just adds to a very uncomfortable scenario. Anyway, Big Dick Troll is here. His model is clipping through his body. His staff is clipping into his head. They're talking about the best prank or something. That's the whole thing. Their economy is built on doing pranks. Yeah. She needs to do the best prank. She's gonna do it. That's their whole thing. That's why we're here. Who's gonna do the best prank? What's the point of this ceremony if we haven't even done the best prank yet? I don't know. Because we all know what's going on if we're trolls. Doesn't matter. And I guess that's it. We're done. We're out of there. It's someone, please.
Yeah. Well, even the other trolls are commenting on how boring Dick Troll's speech is because they hear the same shit every single year. Blah, blah, blah. Best pranks ever. We know this. Even the trolls are bored with the trolls.
No, they don't need to hear it. Neither do we.
I was a little confused because there's like a elder. There's just like one.
Mm-hmm. And like the Papa Smurf.
Yeah, and it's like I get the idea that they only have so many animations or models and they don't want to do a bunch of work. But for some reason, they had plenty of unique, like, teenage ones. The Fenn and Jarvik age ones.
I was going to say, I disagree. I think they only had about 3 of those. Yeah. They have
Jarvik. They had top hair. They had curly.
They got Finn Toozler, Klorg, Up and Hop, and Sapseat. These names will haunt me.
Yeah, head tattoo guy. He's in there.
Yeah.
That's Klorg.
The Klorg.
It would also.
I thought it was Quark for half the movie, and then
you mentioned that they only have like the one elder, and I can assume they don't have technology. So is it just that like they do a prank and he's like asleep and they come back and they're like, "Oh, I stole all their underwear," and he's just like, "That was a good prank. 10 points for you." Like, you can just
15 points for Hufflepuff.
You just leave the cave for like a day and you're like, "Yeah, I killed them all, Grandpa." And he's like, "Whoa, you won this time." Like, he seemingly has, there's no way he's watching all these pranks unfold.
Yeah, they don't show him having any sort of like seeing stone or he's looking into a goblet or something.
Right.
Anything magical to give this guy.
He's looking into a goblin's asshole watching all this happen.
Yeah.
Oh, the old prolapse prank. One goblin. Oh, sorry. And also, when they describe the pranks, that's a matter of opinion. Some would call them pranks. Some of them are very dangerous where they almost drown a bunch of people.
Right.
And they destroyed property.
Most of them involve almost drowning people. There's a whole thing with a bunch of boats that are rigged to sink and then going to flood the whole camp. And that's it. Just murder by drowning.
Doesn't make me like the trolls. It doesn't endear me to these characters.
Well, also, I don't know if we've mentioned it. The trolls have a huge cheat. They can turn invisible at any time.
Yeah.
Like, how is that even like a prank? You're setting up people for like manslaughter. Like
if like the plot of this movie were that like the pranks have gotten out of hand over like hundreds of years and like that would be interesting. Like they just keep escalating and getting worse and worse. That could be something. Instead, like I don't even know what we got. I don't know.
Yeah. There's 3 names credited to writing this thing, by the way.
It takes a village.
Yeah. Well, I think I could definitely see in the movie. This was like a 7 or 9 draft screenplay.
Oh, definitely. Well, let's keep moving. And Ryan mentioned the word prolapse, which is perfect to start my segment because we get the 3 trolls prolapsing their way out of this cave. And when I say that, I mean the animation here is struggling in every single capacity because not only are like in the wides, you've got like the feet going through feet. And like when you get to the close-ups, and I don't know, maybe this happens the rest of the movie, Jarvik's eyebrows, she has 2 eyebrows.
She has 2 sets.
Eyebrows, 2 sets, sorry. Green and black eyebrows. And they just cannot decide where they exist on her forehead at any given time.
I figured out after watching this scene what happened.
Okay.
So some dipshit decided to paint, wasn't thinking, and decided to paint the eyebrows on the actual model.
Okay.
And didn't realize that their riggers didn't actually put like rigging in there. They just put another set over top and they just didn't talk to each other or didn't have time or didn't care.
That makes sense.
And that's why you see that there.
That makes sense.
Fucking terrible. But I think it's only her though.
Well, does that explain why sometimes maybe this is like a program will just you ask it to color something. There are multiple times where their teeth, which are normally white on all the characters, are the same color as whatever their eyes are sometimes. So they got blue eyes and the kid's got blue teeth for a few shots. There's a couple of that with Hayden, especially.
They're just going to town on some ices.
Yeah, that's the buck mouth.
Deleted scenes. You'd have to watch the extended version, the director's cut.
Well, luckily, I ordered the 3 disc set, $42.95.
Blue Underground steel box. They did a really great new 4K restoration, uncut with commentary from the director.
Right. Yeah, it's the fidelity is so good you can actually see the board animator sitting there going click 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 click. You can actually watch him do it. That's how good the clarity is.
Of course. So yeah, that's the Campbell cut or the Thornton cut. But we keep moving through the cave, and Fenn and Jarvik, they kind of get into a bit of an altercation here because Fenn obviously wants to leave. He thinks, let's stop pranking. This isn't funny anymore. What is the point of all this? He's kind of the Nick of these trolls. He's like, I don't get why we're here. And in some way, it represents the audience. And Jarvik disagrees. Pranks are fucking hella dope, she says. And so one of the goons,
real line from the movie.
Yeah, right. And there is a part where they set up. So Fenn gets tabletopped here, and it gets set up by essentially like a clip art being dragged across the screen behind Fenn because like he's in a close up. And you see this troll like behind him in crouch position already just slide across. And that's when he gets pushed over because we see these trolls, they prank each other too. They're just having a good old pranking time. And so angrily, Fenn says, one of these days you're going to do something so big the humans are never going to forget it, and walks away. And this is where Jarvik gets her best idea ever. We're going to do a big prank. She credits that to Fenn, which I don't understand. She's like, I just got the best idea. Big prank that they'll never forget. Really, he didn't say
What
much.
a novel idea.
Yeah, wow. You were listening to fucking Dick Van Dyke back there when he was like, go bigger. But Fenn wanders off into the woods and he stumbles into what I think is probably the ugliest single shot of the movie.
It's horrible. I'm looking at it right now.
It's at 12:20. You can see this is like I don't know what it was called, but back in the day when Toonami was really big and all that, they had this thing you could do on Cartoon Network's website where you got like a background. It could be like the cul-de-sac from Ed, Edd and Eddy, and then you got these stickers, right? You can get like Batman, and you can get like Cow and Chicken, and you could post them wherever you wanted. But they never quite interacted with one another because it didn't work.
It's just a sticker.
Yeah. And that is exactly what this looks like, because you've got like a couple bear traps at the bottom and Fenn is walking across the thing and there's like two different logs, a squirrel that's out of focus and Fenn. And it all just looks like assets from different movies, poorly animated movies.
A squirrel that's out of focus, that's on a branch that's in focus.
Yeah.
But they're both huge. So like they should be either all out of focus or all in focus. And the background should be the revert. Like they don't understand like any part of it.
Well, and you can see that
it's all mysterious to them.
They wanted Fenn to be one with the grass, but obviously he's not one with the background. So they just took a different grass picture and put it in front of his feet. But that sticks out because it's not even the same color. And all in all, it's the ugliest to me. It's the ugliest still in the whole movie. It's at 12 minutes, 20 seconds. It's just terrible.
In the shot before that, as Fenn like travels to the camera, he just gets like bigger and bigger. They just kind of pump him up a little bit. So like by the end of it, he's almost like as big as like some of the little trees like in the background, like the shrubbery.
That happens a lot where like his size changes, but not relative to the background.
Anytime the camera moves in or out throughout the movie, they get smaller, they get taller, everything gets almost like fisheye lens at some point. I mean, it's just things just aren't happening. Things aren't working.
So
guys.
Fenn's asking to himself, speaking of not working, why aren't we working together? Why aren't we with the people? He's wondering to himself, how come no one else likes humans? Why is it just him? When he narrowly avoids a bear trap and he jumps out of the way, but then the second bear trap, seemingly activated for some reason, grabs his book bag. He wasn't quick enough to get that one to stop. And that's when Olaf sneaks out of the brush like a hungry velociraptor through the tall grass. And he grabs Fenn. And he's really excited. This is where he brings up, he's like, I wonder if I'm going to get to meet the president. Maybe I'll get knighted. A joke that they were so married to. He uses it again later on in the movie. They loved this joke so much.
Speaking of which, did you notice there is a picture in one of the cabins?
Oh, yeah.
Which goes
did somebody zoom in on that, please? Did somebody zoom in on that?
It's the queen.
Is that his wife?
It's the queen.
Girl?
Is it the queen?
The queen of England.
Yeah, the knighting. That's why I thought the knighting was so important.
Okay. So
he never got over 1776.
Of course.
Nope.
Of course.
Still trying to go back.
Still trying to go home.
That's right.
And what I love about this too is that when
I'm coming home.
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Is when he's holding Fenn upside down, they clearly like the bottom half of Fenn is in the hands. That is married to the hands of Olaf. But the bottom half, they just like shook it around. They're like, we got to make it look like he's struggling. Not his arms or anything, just the top half of his body. So unfortunately for Mr. Olaf, these bear traps reset themselves. And he steps on.
Yeah, they do.
I don't know how this happens. And I thought maybe they were different bear traps, but he mentions the thing here is called like the double bear trap or something. He specifically names this one later on. But he gets hit right in the foot with one of his bear traps. He screams and drops Fenn. And he instantly starts tossing smoke bombs like Batman trying to get away from the Joker. He's just like as many as he can. Yeah. And like, it's so bizarre because again, Daughtry, he's given it his all. He really is trying to do something with this character, but then what you see on screen is just awful. It's just, he pulls out these giant mothballs. I thought it was snowballs, but they're not. They're supposed to be like some sort of
it was like a flower
bombs or something.
So
if you're watching this, you can tell that these are like assets. Like someone shot a thing of flour exploding in front of like a black screen, and like you can like download that file because like it's clear like a live action element that's been thrown in there. It just looks wrong with everything else. Definitely there's a lot of things that add to the uncanny valley of this movie. And that's one of the smaller ones, but it's definitely one of them.
Well, and at this point, I don't think they established that the trolls can like turn invisible. So like, I thought it was just like all the smoke bombs are going to help the troll escape.
I thought it was just bad animation. I was like, oh, they forgot to fill him in.
You can see him like he's just like he's like dusted with flour. Like it works, but then he just brushes it off, so it doesn't really matter. And then he's not invisible. He just stops being invisible. So
Ryan, I'm 100% with you though. I did not know that it was not established that trolls can turn invisible. So I was like, what the fuck? As terrible as it had been so far, I'm like, oh shit, they just forgot that.
Yeah, and I was disappointed when it turned out in their favor because I was like, oh my god, this has got to be the worst so far. They didn't even put in the color of the character, and then I was like, oh, he's invisible flower. Okay, that's fine, I guess. But I was disappointed because I was like, that's got to be the most egregious error I've ever seen in a movie. If that would have been the case. It's all right. There's plenty of more errors.
Oh, there's
sit tight.
Look, just wait like 10 seconds because my favorite thing in this movie that exemplifies the animation problems happens immediately after this. Yes,
I think it's okay. So after this, Olaf he gets a little too overzealous. He throws too many flower balls, and he now can't see. It was actually a pretty good idea to coat the invisible trolls with flour, but not to throw so many that you cannot see 4 feet in front of you. So he stumbles out, finds 2 campers and a counselor.
Oh, yeah, this one's not safe for work.
Everybody check the chat real quick. I'm sorry. Tyler's derailing us, but it's good. Well, I don't know if that's good.
He went full Aykroyd.
Oh, buddy, do for Dick Nose.
Ryan's eyes and mouth and some random man's penis from Bing.com.
I would hate to see your search history, Tyler.
Did one of us request this? Was this a Twitter request or
this was a me thing? Because I was like, I got to put Ryan on Dick Van Dyke, and then when I was looking at Dick's nose, I was like, well, Dick's got to go right there.
You pulled it, nothing but trouble.
Yeah, exactly.
That's straight
full
up.
Aykroyd.
Still looks all right. Handsome.
He's beautiful. He's a beautiful man, I think.
It's weird how it still very clearly is Dick Van Dyke.
Oh yeah, there's that should be a new that should be some sort of viral thing. Is you put dick noses on people and see if it still changes their appearance. Also, can Malevolent Movies tweet out to Chris Daughtry and ask him about Troll?
Yes, please.
Sure.
Send this to Dick Van Dyke's grandson and tell him this is his
Shane
fault.
Van Dyke. Look him up. Yeah. He's been an actor and stuff for years, actually. So he probably does have all of them. The Asylum, all of them. David Michael Latt, I believe, is the main guy who runs the whole thing. Oh, let's hit them all. Why not?
So Fenn gets away, right? Olaf stumbles into a couple people, then walks backwards into the flower in shame, and Fenn is just like, what the fuck was that? Well, I'm gonna keep walking, and just waltzes away when he stumbles upon 2 kids in a field playing bounce ball, which is a pretty cool game that 2 kids can play where you just get a big ball and you just bounce it between the 2 of you, and
you don't
that's
touch
the game.
And it bounces at a different rate at which you're moving your body.
Yeah. We all remember bounce ball, you know, and these kids are having the fucking time of their life too, because it sounds like there is off camera bleachers full of kids here and they're loving it. They're cheering them on. This is a very close game of bounce ball, I'm sure.
And they're all clones.
And so Fenn kind of stumbles in. He's pretty taken aback by all this, right? He's just like, wow, bounce ball. So he decides to climb a tree and get a better seat. Olaf gets back to his cabin, and I turned on closed captions here because I couldn't tell what he was saying, but he gets out of his golf cart. He limps towards his cabin, and it sounds like he's saying, shit. Does he drop the S-bomb?
Yes, I'd say so. I heard it twice.
I did too. And I went back and I was like, hold on. And I turned on closed captions. It doesn't even register that there's words being said, but it sounds like he says shit.
This
Tyler,
is
can you drop that audio in here?
Yeah, let me see where it's at.
It's kind of like that blood diner thing.
Yes.
Oh, right.
Where we weren't sure what was being said.
It is
brother or cousin or whatever.
Yeah.
What's the timestamp?
It's at like 14:40 when he pulls up on the golf cart. He gets out, he's limping, and it sounds like he says shit.
It's just a classic Daughtry improv, baby.
Yeah.
That's what got him as far as it did on American Idol.
So
that's how he got Slash to play on one of his records. Slash loves when people cuss in cartoons. It's understood.
So Olaf, he gets inside. He decides to do a bit of an exposition log, right? He does like a captain's log situation here, but he does want to kind of
log.
Yeah, he's an exposition log, day 3067, whatever. And he's like, my traps are working, but I bungled it.
It's 10,000 like 952 or something.
Yeah, this tells him it's been
30 years
that this guy's been doing this 30 years. And he's like, I'm finally getting close. It's like, you should have packed it in 29 years, 362 days ago. Well, if we're being honest,
we find out that this poor guy was pranked as a child at this camp.
Sure.
And apparently that really impacted him and guided his entire life.
Yeah. He was almost drowned. He says that the prank was that he got pushed into like a lake as a young boy.
Well, because old man Winkle says that at the end. He's like, I remember when I put like the mustard in your socks and like when I jizzed in your eyes when you were sleeping. Like, I really got you, kid. I really fucked you up, didn't I, kid?
I mean, the trolls almost turned Olaf into Jason Voorhees, really, when you think about it.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
A shittier Jason Voorhees.
No remorse from these trolls.
So after we get this whole exposition dump about how long Olaf's been at this and why he's at this, we meet Aiden. And Aiden is played by Jerry O'Connell, which still kind of blows my mind. And he's drawing a dragonfly. He's kind of dumb. He's bummed because his dumbass almost mistook it for a common green garner, but it's actually a giant garner.
Fucking shithead.
Idiots.
Fucking moron. They're so different.
Open your eyes.
And this is where we meet two bullies. Ryan, what were their names? I don't have them.
The one with the
skull.
Is Flint, and the bald one is Adrian.
Okay,
Marco
will be showing up here in a second too.
Okay,
yeah,
sure.
Flint and Adrian.
Bebop and Rocksteady.
Yeah,
it's a Scump and Dump.
And
Scump and Dump.
Oh God, Joe.
They just do some bully shit. You know what they do? They call him Frayden because his name is not that, which is what kids do. It's is it Hayden or Aiden?
Hayden.
Hayden.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like the Dark Lord himself.
Yeah. They don't know. They're messing with fire. So
they're overly critical. They never listen.
I have the top side now.
I hate sand. It's all rough and gets everywhere.
You've done that every time, Bucky.
I know. That's the only line I remember from that whole trilogy.
Yeah.
From my point of view, the Dunderfly is a beta fly. That's deep enough.
Yeah, that's good. So the bullies do some bully shit. They grab Brayden's notebook. They call him Frayden like 80 times because they must have been proud of that joke. And they're throwing his notebook around and Hayden's like, hey, my mom gave me that.
The notebook is just like shooting across the screen. Like they're not tossing it.
Yeah.
Like it looks like when Thor calls fucking Mjolnir to his hand. Like it just and they've got it. And like, haha, I've got your stupid notebook, nerd. Fucking movie.
And like the hands are so poorly like articulated.
They're cracking back like they're gonna break.
They're back, and then there's a part where it looks like maybe we didn't see, but Flint accidentally got tussled with some handcuffs because his hands are like they're the wrong way to catch anything. And then like Hayden's hands are just like on wires like a marionette because they're they're having a bit of a tussle here. Yeah. And so then the notebook gets ripped, and they're just about to give him an atomic wedgie when a counselor shows up and is like, hey, why don't you cut that shit out? Stop doing that. The counselor stands about 6 feet away and is like, hey, what's going on over there? As if she can't see two bullies beating the shit out of this kid and stealing his stuff. And so then Hayden takes off like he's in the wrong for some reason. Fenn has witnessed all this from his tree And he doesn't like this. He sees a little bit of himself, I think, in Hayden. You know, he's kind of the outsider in Trolland, and Hayden's the outsider up here in topside. And so he decides he's going to grab the papers, which this is another layer of troll magic. They can also turn shit they touch invisible.
Yes.
Apparently.
Sure. Why not?
Because I thought this was an animation issue, because Fenn jumps down, grabs the papers that were in the notebook, and they turn invisible. Two nearby campers see them and go, "What was that?" And one goes, "Those papers moved." They didn't move. They turned invisible. And the girl's like, "I don't know." Like a Skyrim NPC. They just continue on with their day.
Also, those two campers are identical. It is the same model used twice.
I just assumed they were twins. I gave too much credit.
I have identical twins with the exact same haircut and everything.
Yeah,
but for certain shots, one has different color hair. One's a blonde and one's a brunette.
Yeah, but not this one.
This is my theory.
Their shirts are backwards sometimes. The writing is backwards.
Yeah,
because they just flipped it.
Yep.
This camp is like a government test facility. These kids are all clones. There's a reason why these kids are here. Then they're acting clearly not human. They don't.
The winner of bounce ball every day gets to stay alive.
They've never been outside of this camp. There's nowhere else to run to.
Yeah,
and they're clearly just That's why there's 30 of the same child.
Mm-hmm.
They're all special.
And that's why Jarvik was trying to put them all out of their misery. At the end
mysterious. Do you think the Duffer Brothers watched this and they were like, "Ooh, Stranger Things"?
Hey, what if they find another boy?
Oh, this one likes toast.
Okay.
I thought that was in Stranger Things.
Fucking waffles.
She eats Eggos.
Okay.
Everyone likes toast, Joe.
I'm gonna make a movie about a little boy who likes toast.
My mom made bacon.
Pancakes would have been the logical confusion, but fucking toast.
I don't know. I knew it was a breakfast food.
Good Lord.
I think maybe you
you
didn't
guys
have
decide
to talk
on what breakfast food you want to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. My name's 19 and I love toast. Can I get some?
There's the next Jodo shot. So
I'm in the middle of one.
Okay.
Jesus.
So we get, like I said, Fenn, he's turned these papers invisible. These girls pay it no mind. We get to the woods where Aiden is just barely getting out of there. Like he is working on it. He's lost apparently. And this is where we're reminded why you shouldn't probably booby trap an entire summer camp full of kids with bear traps or anything like that, because Aiden steps right into one of those rope leg loophole traps that pulls you upwards, but it doesn't really pull him upwards. It just kind of knocks him over and makes him float, which is arguably more impressive. And this when Fenn shows up and he decides that he's going to help get Fenn out. And the animation here is just so bad. And they had an idea for how this would look and what would happen here. And since the faces can't emote at all, we can't tell like what parts are who's scared when. They're both seemingly scared because at one point, like a turtle on his back, Hayden is just like kicking his arms and legs, and then Fenn is just spinning in a circle doing 360s in the background because they're so scared of one another. And I think that's where my section ends.
All right, so yeah, it's up to me now. So oh boy, so Hayden, he's stuck in this trap. And he's feeling sorry for himself, says, "Oh, this is the worst summer ever," and all that shit. And then, I think we have a little bit of overlap here because then, then Fenn comes up. Boy is scared that Hayden's scared that Fenn is going to eat him. And he says, "Oh no, hold on, is there a new? Oh Jesus Christ, we got another Jodo shot.
That's a rough
boy.
Oh my God."
Yeah.
What are all the elements here, Tyler? What's going on here?
That's your hair, eyes, and mouth on Chris Daughtry.
Well, I knew the hair looked good. The hair looks wonderful.
Oh, thanks, Joe. That's great. Now this guy would have won American Idol. This guy would have won.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. He can hit notes nobody's even heard before.
Well, ever since Trolland's come out, this is Chris Daughtry's new look. He's trying to disguise himself. He's like, I'm totally ruining the business.
It's like his Garth Brooks alter ego.
He's going invisible just like the trolls.
Yeah. Oh boy. Hayden is scared that Fenn is going to eat him, and Fenn says, well, that wasn't very nice, especially when I tried to help you with your notebook. And then Hayden says that help in troll means eat, I guess. He's just pulling shit out of thin air like Joe Buck. Just making up things.
Yeah. I heard you guys want to eat me on IMDb.
Yeah. Sure. Fenn says that it's, hey, that's not my trap. That's a human trap. And he says that Olaf set the trap to catch the trolls. The more he struggles, the tighter the knot will get. Eventually they get Hayden out. But that sends Fenn like flying up, like Fenn gets caught up in it or something. And then he's trapped. So then Hayden has to get hit. Like, it's just padding the runtime here. Oh, and I wrote down that this 1 minute has been harder to recap than the entirety of the SummerSlam. Then they're free, and then they bond over like Fenn also has a notebook. They bond over that.
Yeah, I'm like paper too. I'm a troll.
Yeah. And Fenn explains that the trolls prank the humans to scare away the humans so that the humans won't drive the trolls out of their homes. I guess.
The trolls bring it on themselves. Yeah. They cause trouble. They make people almost drown.
Yeah.
And the idea that like a prank would stop the humans from wanting to kill you is a weird one, because it's never been like, you don't walk up to a bear and like poke it a bunch of times and then you're like, well, the bear was going to hurt me, so I stabbed it a bunch of times. Like, it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
I think it's here where Hayden asks, like, now is Olaf trying to get you because you prank him, or are you pranking him because he's trying to capture you? And that is like their only attempt at like some kind of theme in this whole movie. And they don't talk about it too much for right now, at least. They're not sure who started the prank war between the trolls and the humans, but Fenn wants to stop it before anyone else gets hurt.
Well, that gets brought up several times, and I feel like every time like Fenn or Hayden talk to the trolls about it, they're like, well, we don't know, but also we don't give a shit. We're going to keep up this trolling.
Yeah, the trolls are terrible in this movie. They're terrible. There's nothing endearing about them. They don't look good. They're mean to everybody.
Well, you can't judge a book by its cover. I mean, so what if they're smelly and green and they look like toes?
What they're doing. I'm not talking about the way they look necessarily. Yes, they're putrid looking, but then they do putrid things.
Yeah.
You know,
I think there's nothing wrong with putting a little bit of butter on like a handrail so somebody might slip off and crack their head.
You wouldn't even know where to find butter, Joe Buckley, unless it's under your neck.
No, absolutely not. I eat a lot of I can't believe it's not.
Mm-hmm. Now what?
It's not butter.
Oh, wow. Incredible. They hear Olaf.
Old margarine Buckley.
Yeah, they hear Olaf jerking off in the bushes and they flee. But he comes out and says, so they figured out the tension rope trap of total trapping. Very clever. And then he just sort of lays down on the ground to, I assume, to like catch their scent or something, because then he starts to follow them. Fenn and Hayden talk about how he's the first, you're the first troll I've met. Oh, you're the first human I've met. Yada, yada, yada. They're bonding. Fenn knew that he could trust Hayden because he was drawing the dragonfly instead of playing his Game Boy like all the other kids. He's special.
Well, you got to put a
message there.
Yeah, exactly.
That's really
how you sell it to the parents.
Oh yeah, so he's like, "Oh yeah, I knew I could trust you. You were looking at nature." And he says, "My mom taught me that. She's awesome. She's an entomologist."
Okay, he says a lot about how he loves his mother. Where is that coming from? I don't mean to be weird or mean about it, but it's just so there's like some serious mommy love going on with this
She
kid.
shipped him off to troll camp too.
Yeah.
And yeah, maybe it was her way of getting him to be less of a homebody, because we kind of get the vibe from him that he'd rather just sit and draw and be by himself. That camp is not necessarily suited to his personality. And maybe it's a single mother, and she's trying to push him out into the world a little bit by sending him to camp.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here for a little bit, kid. Jesus Christ.
Go mess with some monsters, some little weird monsters doing crazy shit.
No kidding. A bunch of bugs appear, and Fenn sits down to draw them. And then we go back to the camp, and a vase of milk is knocked over onto some posters that the campers are making. I don't know what else.
Borders that milk.
Yeah, like
read it and stop.
I don't. Yeah, it's fucking movie. The three goon trolls, I called them. Ryan, what are their names again?
I believe you are speaking of
Jarvik is one of them.
Well, okay, so you got Jarvik as T-Boz, but then there are the other ones. Finn Toozler is the one that has the black spiked up hair, weird hair.
Okay.
Borg is the guy with the tattoos on his face.
They're the top three in the prank wars.
Yeah. Even though Barf was on that list in the background but we never meet Barf. Oppenhopper, sometimes called by Open Hop. None of the voice actors totally understood. No, it's a Leia thing. He's the one with the big weird nose. And then Sap Seat, as in sitting in sap, is the other girl. Sap Seat. That's right.
Okay. Well, three of them are under the table, and apparently they knocked it over while they were invisible. Jarvik says she wants to pull the big prank, which is knocking over the water tower and flooding the camp. Which is like super villain shit. That's like what Sideshow Bob did in that one episode with the dam. Like, but anyway, back in the woods, the boys are talking about what a great day they're having, but it's getting late and Hayden's got to get back to camp. Then we see Olaf. He's looking into a big, like, hollowed out log in the woods, gets spooked by something in there, and he kind of stumbles back and falls on his butt. And he falls right underneath a tree, right next to a tree, and a bunch of squirrels drop some pine cones on him. And that's it. And we're back to the boys again. And Hayden is just like walking back to the camp. This is where they say they're going to meet up like later at night. Then back at the camp, the counselor, Miss Jessica, I think was her name.
Yep.
Is corralling all the kids to the hot dog line. She says, come on, I know hot dogs are exciting.
Hey, no cutting. There's going to be enough for everybody.
Yeah, she said, grab your trays, no cutting, headphones off, blah, blah, blah. And then that scene is immediately over as quickly as it started. And it is now lights out. We get a shot of like the loudspeakers announcing like the end of the day. And then it's Miss Jessica putting the kids to bed. And she's telling them, all right, lights out, got to go to sleep, blah, blah, blah. No staying up late, except for Hayden, who's just drawing. And she doesn't seem to give a single shit that he's just going to stay up drawing all night, even though she just told them, everybody, hey, lights out. Like, okay. And he is laying. I wish I knew a way to describe how he's laying down, because it looks so fucking uncomfortable. He's like supporting himself entirely on his elbows, it feels like. Oh, God, I lost where my spot is. Hang on. Oh, and she also asked, since he's such a good artist, can he help her make the new banners tomorrow morning and set them up and everything? And all of this is in one shot of like a medium shot of her just kind of like floating around. You don't see Hayden really at all. You don't see the other kids. You only see one other kid in the bunk underneath Hayden. Hayden agrees and she leaves, and he's not being told to go to bed, even though she was just yelling at all the other kids too. The next morning, sorry, I wrote the next morning and then I said, nope, sorry, this is still at night apparently, because it looks like sunrise, but it's sunset, I guess, but it's also late at night because Hayden is sneaking out with his flashlight. And meets up with Fenn, who has agreed Hayden to see the to take Hayden to go see the glow caps, whatever those are.
Band. They're in town.
Yeah, Yeah, the glow caps are playing.
Daughtry's new project.
Yeah.
The glow caps.
I'm the glow caps.
Oh my God. As they're leaving the camp, Olaf spots them from afar as he's like screwing something into a boat. He grabs a light and follows them, and he is swarmed by a bunch of fireflies, and he just kind of like trips over everything, trips over his feet for about 10 seconds.
Trevor, at this point, I have a question for you. Did you think that the fireflies were the glow caps, quote unquote?
Oh,
that's
100%.
what I thought they were.
Yeah.
What
Absolutely.
are they?
I think glow caps are supposed to be the mushrooms, right?
I would assume.
Yeah,
That's right, because there was that shot early in the movie when we're going through the tunnel or whatever to go to Trolland, and they have glowing mushrooms.
Yeah. In our defense, the mushrooms in the hollowed out tree they go to don't look like mushrooms.
No.
So they just look like there's like light orbs sitting in there. So
I thought it was a hole in the tree, and there was just some like moonlight that was like coming through or something. Like,
It's all very valid, fair assumptions. Hayden says he's afraid because they're out late. He's sneaking around. It's the woods late at night. Ooh, spooky. But Fenn reassures him that it's safe. He's cool. We're all good here. But then he opens up a troll door in a tree, and they just kind of go into the tree and sit down and start eating some blueberries. Also, it was painful to watch Fenn try to sit down. I felt like every bone in his body was cracking, like Dick Van Dyke has to be right now. Just snap, oh God, as he sits down, because it just looks so fucking painful. His legs are bending. It's bad.
He's quadruple jointed. Everybody at that camp is because they're clones.
Maybe trolls have like jelly bones or something.
I'm watching it now, and it just picks up a clump of berries. Just this mass of berries.
He just picks it up out of his bag. Doesn't open his bag.
There's no, but they're not individual berries. It's one like it's a pile of berries, but it doesn't. You pick it up as one thing.
It's one unit.
Yeah, like they're frozen or like glued together. It's gross.
Yeah, it sucks. So they're sharing some blueberries, and we find out that Fenn's favorite food is a grub sandwich on mushrooms. And Hayden says that he's more of a hot dog man, but Fenn asks, "What are hot dogs?" And Hayden replies, "I don't really know."
This is a conversation.
Comedy.
This is a conversation that Joe and Tad have had together.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Yeah, well, there are probably grubs in there, too.
My favorite food is grubs. My favorite food is hot dogs. What's in a hot dog? I don't know.
There you go, Joe. There's a new episode of Sit Boys. Hayden says he's the fucking scaredy cat. He says, "Yo, I'm scared." He's still scared again. But Fenn again reassures them they will be safe. He says this place has got more glow caps than his room in the Warrens. Okay, cool. I think
that's going to save you from bears.
And he gives some whimsical explanation of, it's over the river and through the woods, and it's by this bridge.
He's like, "Did you ever hear the one about Doth Plagueis the Wise?"
Yeah, that's this scene. But Hayden knows where it is because I know this bridge. Fenn says he wants to see a human home, and Hayden says that he lives in the city. And he starts to explain cities to Fenn as we fade out.
Did anybody else get really creeped out by the scene, by the way?
Yeah, I didn't really know what there was happening.
All of a sudden, weird Ja Rule troll feeds this little boy berries. That boy passes out in the log and wakes up in the morning.
Well, and the line is uttered, "I have never done anything like this before." And I was like, we could have maybe done a second pass on this part of the script more than any other part.
It was all very
troll
cringy
before. Yeah, it was bad. It was awkward. So he falls asleep in the tree, wakes up. It's morning time. Oh shit! He's not in his bunk. He's not there to help Miss Jessica. Bad shit's gonna happen. Fenn worries that his sister will be pissed if she finds out that he was out all night with a human. She says that she just needs to meet a nice human. They agree that maybe they'll meet up later, and Hayden heads back to camp. But immediately he runs into Olaf, who wants to know where he was. Hayden says he went out early this morning to sketch and he got lost. Olaf tries to get Hayden to admit that he saw a troll for like, I don't know. It felt like 5 solid minutes. They keep doing the, and that's where you saw the troll? Well, no. Whoa, but you did this, right? Well, no. And that's where my thing ends with a thud.
All right, I'll pick this up here, boys. Okay, so at this point, I guess Hayden's heading back to camp or whatever. And then you've got 3 of the clones. They're playing soccer at camp, and they go to kick the ball, and then all of a sudden, the sound effect sounds like someone kicking a hollow beach ball. And
that was my favorite joke of the whole movie.
Then all of a sudden, Miss Jessica's like, "Oh no, this camp is falling apart." And it's like, this movie fell apart 30 minutes ago, but we're still here. And for what this is all this scene is, it's just these kids kicking a soccer ball, and then it's over. That's it. And then we go back to the Warren. I guess that's where the trolls live, which I never really got that. I'm like, are they talking about a person? That's a place. I've never heard that described as a place to live.
No,
a place of dwelling, a warren. Is this like a thing? Does anybody know? Has anybody done research on that?
Yeah, it's like a let me see.
Okay, because
it definitely is. It's mainly used for like rabbits, apparently. It's like a fen. Well, actually, like a fen, which is another tiny river.
Okay. Oh, that makes sense. I mean, they're underground-ish in the trees.
A crowded tenement or district.
Yeah, it's used in Watership Down a bunch, which is just where I heard.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was new to me. So they go back to the Warren.
Tyler's not listening to anything because look at his next Jodo shot. Because
I can tell by his smile. I can tell.
I can tell.
Let's check this out.
He's a cheeky boy.
What the fuck is this? All right.
Yeah, Obi-Wan. You got a sandy pussy?
Look,
Tyler,
if we have to put up with this shit, you have to put up with this shit, okay? I love the photoshops, but come on.
Well, I figured it would help. We got 7 heads here, so I tend to talk a lot while keep my mind busy.
True.
I see.
Fair enough.
Idle hands.
I just want you to suffer with all of this.
Yeah, no kidding.
So we're back in the Warren, and you've got Dick Van Troll, Yusuf. He's kind of explaining some wisdom there, and he's giving some updates on the prank war. And apparently, one of them, I think the troll with all the ear piercings, he switched out all the butter at the camp with mayo, and he thought that was a pretty classic prank. So he got some points on the board for that one.
Everything might have tasted better.
Yeah, there was another prank. There was another prank at some point where they switched out all the pepper for sugar. It's like, the campers never forgot about that one for a while.
Except for the
they
one,
had really tasty breakfasts.
Except for the one diabetic camper. We don't talk to him anymore because he's dead.
So very, very brief scene at the Warren talking about a couple of pranks, and then we meet up with Hayden and Fenn, and they meet up for some fun in the woods, unsupervised, because everything at this camp is very loosey-goosey. There's only one counselor, that's Miss Jessica, and then you got Olaf, who I guess he just kind of he's custodian, groundskeeper, the camp, and they don't care. So Hayden's like, "Hey, I'm going off to hike with the boys," and Miss Jessica's like, "What boys?" Parentheses, subcontext, "You don't have any friends." And Hayden's like, "Oh, you know the boys," and she's like, "Okay, have fun." So he goes off and meets up with Ja Rule Troll, and this is where I'm going to throw it back, Ryan, because I feel like you might be the only person who gets this reference, because it's taken all this time, all this discussion. I watched this whole goddamn movie talking about it. I finally figured out what Ja Rule Troll looks like. Do you remember in Living Color, the head detective?
I know this. I used to watch it all the time, but and I probably saw the sketch, but
it's just a head with giant ass hands, painted green. It's Fenn the Troll.
I think that Sean is onto something.
Absolutely.
Okay, head detective in Living Color. I do remember remember this now. Yeah, that's Ja.
Oh, God damn it. So, head detective and Hayden meet up in the woods for some good old fun. And he's going to show him the warrant. I think that's the plan. But at first, they see a deer in the woods. And then all of a sudden, the Trolland movie turns into Big Buck Hunter. They could play at Buffalo Wild Wings because a deer straight out of that game comes strolling through these digitally enhanced woods, walking straight through weeds.
Exactly what it was. It's just like boom, right in your. It pops up right and blocks everything, and it doesn't look like anything else. It's a good-looking deer. That's exactly what it is.
It's a damn good deer. It's a damn good deer. I put some buckshot in there. So they're like, "Hey, here's a deer. I've got some extra blueberries in my pocket. You know how those went last night." So head detective takes out some blueberries. He's like, "Hey, Hayden, stand very, very still. And this deer will come over and eat him out of my hands." And then all of a sudden, the head detective, the troll, Ja Rule, he just stops. The animation is completely still, eyes completely dead. And this pretty damn good looking deer comes over and quote unquote eats the berries out of his hand, but none of the berries move. They're all still there. And then he gives berries to Jerry O'Connell, Hayden, and who does the same thing. And his animation stays completely still, dead eyed.
Did anybody have any issue with the munching sound of the deer?
I didn't know.
So something happened to me. I think I was, I can't remember what I was doing, but I wasn't looking at the screen. And maybe like the noise, it was just white noise to me. But as soon as that deer started eating those blueberries, it was fucking visceral. Like I almost like threw my phone. I was so upset. There's something about that sound that just like it cut me to my core.
I think it's fine. I'm listening to it now. I'm all good with it.
Well, I'm glad that you're good with it, Mr. Squish a hamster with your foot and suck on it.
No,
but like I don't know what it was. Like I watched it back with my eyes, and it was fine. But the first time I heard that, I was like, "Stop this! Stop this madness!" I was losing my mind.
Tyler, you know what audio cut me that same way?
What's that?
Is the page turns at the very, very beginning of Dick Van Dyke telling the story. The page turning was so loud, it just cut through the entire mix.
That was a combination of the page turning and
it was like they're
skin.
Well, there's only a couple times. Most of the music is pretty fine and level throughout this movie, but there's a couple times where somebody accidentally bumped it up like 20 decibels for about 5 seconds because there'll be some like poppy song in the background. And then we fucking had a summer. It was fucking. It's a great movie. Watch it.
Mm-hmm. So this scene really made me want to play Big Buck Hunter because I used to be pretty decent at that back in the day. So it gave me some flashbacks. And I feel like they probably took that deer out of the animation somehow of those games.
Well, the deer looks pretty good, but compare that with like, I don't know, less than a minute later, and you see some birds and some slugs.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely pulled that out of somewhere already pre-existing.
So at this point, they feed the deer and they're having a damn good time. So this Ja Rule Troll and Jerry O'Connell Hayden, they're having, it's kind of, I guess, it's a team up for fun montage. They're looking at nature, they're looking at birds, they're looking at spiders. There's this really poppy song in the background. I believe it's called Passengers by a band called Dinosaur Parade. That's what it said in the credits. So if anybody wants to look up Dinosaur Parade, the band, they had a couple songs on the soundtrack. But
do you think that they were excited about that? Was this their first big get? And then they're like, "Oh, it's an animated movie. Dick Van Dyke, Ja Rule. All right." And then they watched it.
We're going to be the next Counting Crows.
They told everybody in their family about it.
They probably play like some clips from the movie on like a giant big screen at their live shows.
They went all in on these tracks,
actually,
man.
Speaking of that, Joe, when I was in junior high, what was that Linkin Park song that like fucking everybody was playing like in 2001 or 2?
In the end?
No.
Yes.
In the end, crawling.
I think it was in the end. And I remember there was a group that came to my junior high to talk about not doing drugs because drugs aren't cool. And they had big speakers They were all dressed all cool like hip hop.
Yes.
And for some reason, they kept playing montages of pop culture shit, but they had a lot of Osmosis Jones in there.
Yes, I remember this.
Like Osmosis Jones on the screen, Linkin Park blasting the speaker. And even at that time, I was like, I don't think those go together.
Holy shit.
Sometimes I don't know why. It doesn't even matter how hard you try. Don't do drugs, kids.
Oh my God.
Sorry if I took you back to something dark, Trevor.
You did. I had that was excised from my brain.
Yeah. And the thing of it is, like, I don't think anybody would have made Osmosis Jones unless they were completely just baked out of their mind, just high on air duster.
Don't you talk shit about Osmosis Jones, Joe.
Have
you ever seen Osmosis Jones?
I don't believe I have, no.
I didn't think so. Have you ever even heard of it until literally
it's the one about the germ. There's a blue germ and he's voiced by Will Smith, I believe.
He is a white blood cell voiced by Christopher Rock.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Son of a bitch.
I didn't have Zach defending Osmosis Jones on my bingo card.
Look, I knew the discussion was going to get really dark and weird today for Trolland, or Trolls with a Z, but I did not think Osmosis Jones was going to get brought up in detail.
Osmosis Jones is the official movie of Camp Two Hands. So.
Yes, absolutely.
Jesus.
Ryan just died.
Yeah, I want more cartoons.
Hey, Bill Murray was in that. This live action Bill Murray in Osmosis.
Wasn't that a
But he was in Garfield too. I mean, that wasn't any good.
They directed the live action parts.
Yeah.
Okay.
And don't worry, Ryan. That is an unofficial. That is not our official pick for this month.
It was too good to be our pick.
I understand. I understand.
I wouldn't dream of picking it because it's too good.
Yeah.
That's the hard thing about this month is there's some stuff that's just too good, or it's so bad it is good.
Honestly, I'm worried that our pick will be too good after watching this.
Man, there's a chance.
It's tough.
It's going to be it's a thread in the needle situation next week, I think.
I mean, it's hard to find a thirsting out there. I'm running into too many sickness houses, which anyway.
Yikes. Okay. So, all right. So we're frolicking in the woods. We have a young boy and a poorly rendered troll, and they're having a great old time. And while this montage is going on, Bulk and Skull, the bullies, and Olaf, the groundskeeper, are trying to find them for various reasons. The bullies want to do bully shit, and Olaf wants to find the troll, and they're comically evading them this entire time. And then they run into some banana slugs that look more like rubber pencils or soggy French fries crawling on the ground in perfect unison. And it looks like these slugs are having a bit of a race of sorts. And I think Fenn, Ja Rule Troll, picks up one of the slugs at one point. For no reason whatsoever.
No, he was going to take a bite at him. And then the kid looks at him like, no. You have to be civilized now.
Is that really what's happened? What happened?
I believe so, yeah.
I was distracted just trying to figure out they're actually slugs from the animation. I missed that whole part. It wasn't happening for me.
The one part Joe pays attention to.
Yeah. I like it when the bugs are on the screen.
He sees a family member. He's like, oh, family.
So fun time montage with the pop song from Dinosaur Parade. That wraps up, and then we go back to the Warren, and then we've got the T-Boz, Jarvik, the head of the pranky trolls. She's like, here's the deal, guys. And I know we mentioned this earlier, but I think this is the first time in the movie where the prank to end all pranks is actually unveiled, where her plan is to cut down the totem pole, which will then knock over the water tower, which will then flood the cabins in the entire picnic area of the camp, possibly drowning all the campers.
It's a Bond thing. I mean, that's Goldfinger right there. That's a villain. That's not a prank.
My thought of this was like you're bringing it too hard, Jarvik, because if you do this, there's not going to be any camp for you to prank, and then your entire troll prank economy will collapse. Like 2008, you're done.
And then on top of that, maybe maybe everyone tries to keep their pranks quiet, because we heard from Usopp the mayonnaise thing. He was real impressed with the whole mayonnaise thing. So I think Jarvik is going way too hard she doesn't need to go that hard. If she's fighting for the mayonnaise guy, I think she's It's too much prank.
Yeah. I'm gonna sneak into the cabin at night and steal all the campers' shoes before they wake up.
I mean, that would have been more on par with the mayonnaise trick, but apparently Jarvik wants to end it all, man. She wants to wear that crown is the prank queen. But this whole time, Ja Rule, head detective, is spying invisibly, which it's weird that other trolls can't detect when other trolls are invisible in the same room. That seemed kind of weird to me.
Yeah, you think they would be able to do that? There'd be some sort of sensory thing amongst themselves.
So somehow Ja Rule Fenn flies randomly through the air and is caught by Jarvik at midair. And she's like, "You've been spying on us." Blah, 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 blah.
I think it might be troll magic. I wasn't.
That's the vibe I got.
But I mean, it's not established anywhere else at any other time that they have like this telekinetic ability to command stuff. I don't know.
I thought he was trying to like sneak through their conversation. It would seem weird. Why wouldn't you walk around? And then she just kind of like plucked him out of the air because she sensed that he was there. I don't know. But this is where we actually learn an important part where humans have a very distinct smell. And they smelled something on Fenn and like, "You've been hanging out with humans." And at this point, Dick Van Dyke shows up and he has no eyes again. He's like the Undertaker, WWE. He's like Raiden in Mortal Kombat. He has no pupils whatsoever.
He's high as hell.
Nobody questions it. And it's very, very distracting in the entire scene. Like I kind of lost track of what was going on because I was like, are his pupils going to come back? And they didn't. They didn't for the entire scene.
Yeah, he's doing that thing like in RoboCop when he's in the second RoboCop movie after they chop him up and he's like hooked up to wires and stuff. Obviously, really, he's going his eyes are bobbing around and going back in his head. That's how Allsop is. Usopp. That's how Usopp is though all the time. He's just kind of like his eyes are bobbing around. You're not sure if he's hooked up to something or if he's there. Or...
It's insanely distracting. And then I'm like, I don't know, is he Jabba the Hutt under there? Because he's got no feet, he's got no legs. We established this, and he just kind of like floats around on the ground. He's got no eyes, and it's very disturbing. And they realize that Fenn's been hanging out with humans, and like that's not cool. And he's like, "Hey guys, we got to stop pranking. This is lame." Like, no, pranking's who we are. And so he quits the trolls, or at least he quits the Warren. He's gonna move out. He quits the troll life. So I don't know what he's gonna do. Going to live in that stump with the glowworms or wherever the fuck they are. So he takes off and then he meets up with Jerry O'Connell again and the other trolls. What's her name? T-Boz and Head Tattoo and ear piercing.
Clorg. Hop and Hop. Sapsy.
Finn
Toozler.
Yeah. All those fuckers are hanging out on a tree limb. And they're apparently spying on Fenn and Jerry O'Connell. They're talking, and they're randomly dropping acorns on children that aren't there. And every time they drop an acorn, you hear, "Ow, ow." But the only two people that are there that they're spying on, that I assume, are Fenn and Jerry O'Connell. But these acorns are hitting ghost clone children, apparently. And I have no idea what's going on here. And then my notes say Olaf. Oh, okay. No. So all this fucking motley crew. So T-Boz and Clorg and and what's her name? Sapseat, and one of the other prank war trolls. They're gonna go like, "Hey," because they're gonna tell Olaf that they're gonna drop the fucking water tower and drown the entire camp. So they're like, "We know what to do. We're gonna prank Olaf before they tell Olaf." So they break into his pad and they get stuck on some fly paper, which is the thickest ass fly paper I've ever seen in my entire life. And then T-Boz is like, "Oh shit, this stuff is good. We can use this fly paper to do pranks." Not like we're planning on drowning the entire camp, which would negate pranking anybody. So like we need to find more fly paper. So they do. So I don't know if it's Clorg and Sapsy or whatever. They find some more fly paper. They steal it out of Olaf's office and then they're walking with it and like, "Oh shit, we need to go invisible." So they do. And then there's floating flypaper going across the ground. So apparently what they established earlier that they can turn other physical objects invisible, a la the Notebook. At least these trolls were not smart enough to pull that prank. So there's just floating flypaper going outside. That's it. I don't have anything else. I blacked out there for a second.
We are over halfway through, folks. Stick with us. I was having a ball. I was having a ball for like the first 2 or 3 people, but after that, I'm just like, I fucking hate this movie. Like,
Yeah.
So we're back to Olaf. He's driving his golf cart into the woods, and he pulls out his binoculars. He spots Top Hair. What's Top Hair? What's his name?
Top Hair is Finn Toozler.
He's got Finn Toozler in his binoculars. And Finn Toozler's sneaking around behind some bushes. So Olaf rushes the bushes, and he gets face to face with Finn Twizzler. And he Finn Twizzler runs into the log, or a log. Just watch the movie. Olaf, he starts tossing smoke bombs again. Don't know why, but it's like he also is gonna dive and reach into the log. So the smoke bomb just took up time. He might have actually gotten Finn Twizzler if he had done it. But he reaches in there, and there's like a whole gag about like, you didn't just grow hair, did you? And Twizzler's like, no. And then that's a squirrel. Ah! And he pulls a squirrel out. Everyone's laughing. The whole family's laughing. We're all like, ha 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 ha, spilling popcorn, just spilling our drinks. Jarvik is with some trolls trying to figure out, I don't know if it was where Fenn was or where Olaf was. No idea, but Top Hair. Oh, sorry, we're back to Olaf. There's a lot of this in the last 20-30 minutes. It's like you go to a scene for 20 seconds and then you're out.
Yeah.
Fenn Twizzler and Curly, the one with the tattoos on his head, are spotted by Olaf, who grabs his trusty dried cum bag and runs after him. I'm saying that because he has like this knapsack that just is stiff as a board, doesn't move. Not even Joe laughed. Fuck you, Joe.
Whoa.
I was not paying attention. Joe's
I am
not
absolutely paying attention.
Okay, cut to Fenn and Hayden hiding in the pot tree. Hayden tells Fenn they should go to see, what is it? The Warren?
The Warren.
The Warren.
God damn it. I hate all these words. The Warren, that's Yosep, right? Or Usopp?
Usopp. Dick Van Dyke.
Yeah. Old Dickie.
Also known as Cat Stevens.
Anyways, blah, blah, blah. They should go to him because if he got to know Hayden, who's friendly, then he maybe, would connect that all humans are friendly. Jarvik and a character I called Weak Voice. It's like her sidekick. That's like the worst fucking voice acting I've ever heard.
Sapseat. That's fucking Sapseat.
An old sappy.
Look up her IMDb profile. Her IMDb profile is her doing voice acting. She's got headphones on in front of the screen and the microphone.
Maybe she found out early on what everybody else was getting paid, and so she gave him the $10 an hour version of her voice. But anyways, Jarvik and Sappy, they are nearby where Hayden and Fenn are. So Fenn's like, "Oh, we gotta get out of here. We gotta get here. They can't hear us or see us." And like Hayden's like, "But my backpack." He's like, "Leave it. Fucking bail on it," which makes no sense. So they leave, and then Jarvik and Sappy, they find their stuff. We're back to Olaf. He's got Top Hair and Curly. Olaf congratulates himself while having a massive seizure. He's like staring up at the sky, and his arms are like this. Congratulations, shall be knighted. Ha 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 ha. We're back to Hayden, and he just runs into the bullies. That's the whole bit. We're back to Olaf. He stuffs his nasty rag bag into a cage. The bag just disappears. It took me a long time to realize that what's being implied here is that the trolls are invisible in this moment because he spends time talking to an empty cage, and I thought he was losing his mind. We're back to Jarvik, and a bunch of trolls are together now, and they're digging through Fenn's shit, and Jarvik gets upset that Fenn made candied beetles for the human.
Bastard.
Jarvik kicks Hayden's bag, knocking his notebook out. Uh-oh. And she discovers that he has a map of the troll's location. Now, I know this is supposed to be that moment in the movie where the asshole of the group is like vindicated, like, yes, I knew it, all humans are dickheads, but doesn't have the context, but it just didn't land. Like, I was like the whole time, like, so what? It's a map of your fucking house. Who cares? It took me a while until she has her like little monologue coming up here. But anyways, we're back to Hayden. He's being chased by the bullies, and he suffers a catastrophic leg injury simply by standing. It's just him walking into a shot, and like one leg is like going up and down, and the other one's like at an angle, like he's like walking like this. I get it. Like, I don't want to even blame the animators. I feel like the guy at Asylum, there's like one guy at Asylum who he just has release dates on a board, and every 5 minutes he goes to a big window, he opens it, and there's like the warehouse. It's like a sweatshop. You got 10 days! 10 days! And they're all just like crying and sweating. And, oh my God. Computers are overheating left and right. They can't get the render's not working. 5 days! 10 hours! You know, and they're like, fuck it, just hit complete. And it comes
You're probably not too far off, man. There is one guy, David Michael Ladd, I believe is his name, and he's like the exec producer. He's like their Kevin Feige. I mean, he is. His name is on every single movie.
Now, hold on a second, Ryan. You have just sold me on an Asylum-style MCU where they just start bringing in all of their properties. They do?
Oh, they've got one called a Grim Avengers or something like that. Grim, they do in their sequels. They have a couple.
I'm saying I want to see these trolls hanging out with like the Aqua Spider and the
Transmorphers.
Get them all together.
Little Dead Rotting Hood makes an appearance.
All the 14 different versions of Annabelle they got running around. Their own Lorona, and
I would watch that. If you guys end up listening to this, the Asylum guys, do that.
We'll be in it, man. We'll be in it free of charge. I think all of us will be in it.
We'll pay to be
100%. Yeah.
Joe Buckley's going to play Usopp's
concubine.
Well, Usopp opens his cloak, and it's like with the Ghost of Christmas Future. He's got those two little creatures under there. That's Joe. He's living under there under Usopp's.
Okay, sorry. Boom, boom, boom. Hayden's being chased by the bullies. He runs into the woods, and he's tripped by, I called him Dumpy Troll. I don't even know which one that is. And Jarvik is there. And so he's being held down. He's laying down. And Jarvik lies about Fenn, saying that it was all a ruse, that he's not your friend. He was pranking you. Not sure why they don't call it trolling, but pranking you. And basically just emotionally manipulating this kid until he questions his existence. Jarvik starts ripping apart his notebook. She's just being super vindictive. And the music tells me I'm supposed to feel something, but I didn't. Hayden gets upset and yells out loud that, I hate you, Fenn. Why would you do this to me? I hate you. And then he gets up and he like floats away, but his legs are like, it's bad. It's just bad. So anyways, Fenn walks into the scene immediately after Hayden leaves, like as if they wouldn't have heard each other. And he knows something's wrong. And Jarvik tries to spin the logic the other way, saying that Hayden, how do you know that Hayden isn't working with Olaf? He had the map with him. And he's like, but he wouldn't do that. He's my friend. But he's like, Hayden's a human. He lives with Olaf, who's a human. They're all connected. And she's basically like, stop being a bitch and come home. But it doesn't work. And Ja Rule puts in the performance of a lifetime. He rebukes Jarvik and he goes after Hayden, his friend. He gathers up the notebook pages, but then like, again, I don't know how this is. It requires less work but they put more work in. He's picking up the pages. Of course, it looks like shit. His hands are just going like this, and the pages are like flopping around. But then the pages start flying away. Like, either they could have cut before the pages flew away, or they just didn't need to make a move anymore, but they just hit render. They had to go. The premiere was in 2 hours, and they had to get their tuxes on. Jarvik yells at Dumpy and Sappy and tells them to start cutting down the totem pole because we got to knock that water tower down. She leaves when Olaf strikes. He bags up Dumpy and Sappy and discovers the map of the troll's location. Dun, dun, dun. And I'm done.
All right, here we go. We cut to Fenn, and he comes upon some campers. He's not running after Hayden. He comes upon some campers who are playing Frisbee, and he sees Hayden moping back to his cabin. Now, when I say moping, his arms are down, his head is down. It's like he's a corpse. It's like when they're carrying Bernie in Weekend at Bernie's, except erase the two living people, and that's what it looks like. He looks like his body is just being dragged through the air. There's no life in his body. His head is completely slack. Then Fenn is invisible. At this point, Invisible Fenn tries to explain, runs up to Hayden, tries to explain what really happened. And then he shows himself, and he's holding the notebook. Fenn then tells Fenn tells about Jarvik's water tower plans. So he's going to use the totem pole to knock over the thing, and it's going to drown everybody because they're going to be down there. Jarvik thinks they're going to be at the lake, but Jarvik's going to inadvertently drown everybody. Olaf then shows up. We know that we cut to Olaf. He's in his golf cart. One of the cages full of invisible trolls falls off the back. He stops to put it back on. Cut back to Fenn telling Hayden that there are trolls in that cage. You see that over there? He's actually got trolls in those cages. Hayden thinks, well, maybe he's got the right idea and leaves. So Hayden is holding that fucking grudge, man, because he believes Jarvik.
I had this vivid image of Hayden becoming like a little Hitler and like going like Olaf dies in his hands and he's going to take down every one of those fucking trolls, but he pranks them like they prank humans, except it's like Saw. And he's just fucking just ripping these little dudes apart with these contraptions and stuff. And smush videos.
I would watch that sequel.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Asylum, get on it. They're listening to this.
Let's see. Fenn then goes to the golf area and the archery areas. I think he was at a golf area. He's dodging balls. They look like golf balls. You don't see anyone playing golf. Maybe I was wrong. But there is archery. There's the clones are playing archery. He constantly changes and
the same person hits the bullseye every time.
Yeah,
he's the same shot 3 times.
They're the genetic manipulation of these clones. They're for the Olympics. They want to get these clones.
Yeah, just took gold at Tokyo.
Yeah. At this point, Fenn is constantly changing his invisibility status at random intervals. Sometimes he's just walking, he's invisible, then he's nothing. I don't know if it's an emotional thing or it's just bad animation. Probably bad animation. But he's after Olaf. We cut to Jarvik. She does this whole evil plot and then basically says, I guess I can. Oh, she's waiting for her friends to help her and nobody shows up. So she says, I guess I can only count on myself as the true prank queen. We cut to Olaf. He's in his office, his cabin now, and he's congratulating himself, doing the whole thing about Mr. President. And he reveals, this is where we find out his whole name. He says that his name is Olaf Hampus Hercule Farnsworth Stegbottom. And it's funny because it's long. And then he begins.
It's long.
I mean, that's the Hercule bit, the Poirot bit.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's not the only thing in there. But anyway, he begins taking pictures of the invisible cage trolls because he says he has a special infrared camera that will allow him to see the invisible trolls. He says he's going to go next to their nest because he knows where they live and he's going to get more trolls. And he continues to do his fantasy about meeting the president and doing a tango with the first lady. And then a troll farts. Yeah, always pranking these trolls, even when they're in a cage and they're invisible. They do something funny. They fart, which pisses Olaf off. Yes. And then he continues to taunt the trolls. Finn at this point enters the room and causes Olaf to run after him outside. As Olaf chases after Fenn while throwing more of his flower bombs, because Fenn is invisible. Hayden then enters Olaf's cabin and retrieves his keys. He explains to the surprise trolls that he's helping them because he likes Fenn, and they are Fenn's family. Friends help each other. And the trolls are like, we believe in that concept too. Maybe we're not so different after all, except for the magic and the centuries and centuries and centuries and physical stature and anything. Fenn and Olaf talk to each other about each being the problem. Again, it's that whole thing about everyone's problem. Well, I think you're the problem. Well, I think you're the problem. They do.
From my point of view, the trolls are evil.
Yeah, they do that whole thing that we just went through with the. And then Olaf falls down for no reason. He just falls down.
It's hard to stand up.
No, actually, the door opens in the background. I'm curious if there's a troll there. Is there a troll there?
Is that what they're thinking, the invisible troll? Because he just let him out. Hayden did, so maybe it's supposed to be an invisible troll.
Yeah.
But either way, Olaf falls down. Hayden then arrives, and then he and Fenn leave. Then we see Olaf. He's got this souped-up tractor thing. He's got like a big hose on it on the front, a big long hose, and then on the back he's got like a like clippings for a lawnmower or something. He's got a big thing hooked in the back that would trap things, I guess. He's got a sound system. He's got a little button that he pushes to play music, but it doesn't work. So he sings to himself. He does da 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 da.
We get an Apocalypse Now reference, I thought. Like him like on the
kill the rabbit, kill the wabbit. Yeah.
Oh, my thing's blinking. We get another fun picture.
Uh-oh.
No, I'm just sharing the Queen of England.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Where am I? Hayden and Fenn. Okay.
Wacky old Liz.
Hayden and Fenn then make peace. Fenn says they need to split up. He says he will go to the Warren. Sapseat, Oppenhopper, and Hayden will go to try to stop Jarvik. It's the stupidest sentence I've said in a long time. Hayden and his crew realize that the entire camp will be right where the
right where the towers fell. What the fuck?
Oh, shit.
The asylum is
getting dark.
Yeah.
9/11 was a topside job.
Oh, God.
It was just a prank, okay?
Well, where was Breakapalooza that year?
Shit. Oh, the implications of invisible trolls.
So did Dick Van Dyke do 9/11?
Yep. Confirmed.
Dick did 9/11. Well,
yep.
Get Dick canceled.
There's the next hashtag. All right. So Hayden and his crew realize that the entire camp will be right where the water tower will fall. Cut to the Warren. Finn tells Usopp how he accidentally let Olaf know where they live and that Olaf is on his way there. As Usopp talks about what he would like to do to Olaf, he is sucked up into one of those hoses that is hanging off of Olaf's tractor. The trolls then I wrote down a cracker, but is that the fly paper that we were talking about? They have this orange square that they use to block the hose from sucking them up.
I couldn't tell what that was.
It's a big orange square, and so maybe that might have been the fly paper. Otherwise, I have no idea what that's supposed to be.
I thought it was like cheese. Maybe they got some cheese.
It could be. I wrote cracker. I don't know. It's a big orange square that the 4 trolls are holding above their head, and then when the thing goes to suck them up, the square is too big to go into the hose, so it blocks it, giving them time to escape temporarily.
Let's go with fly paper.
Is that the fly paper?
This is like gold, though. The fly paper was just white, wasn't it? This has a texture to it. I don't know. I don't care.
Mystery that is trolls. You stop. Okay, the trolls, they use the cracker. So that okay. So Fenn and the gang go topside and cut open the bag on the tractor, freeing Usopp and some of the other trolls.
This is where you get to see a little bit of Dick Van Dyke troll running action, and it's good. He just like wobbles side to side, moves way too fast for his little body.
So I'm watching a little bit of this, and like I don't understand this. Like I could do this. They have a what looks like a very realistic shot of like a canyon. They've got Olaf's sucker machine, and the machine is moving. It's slowly dipping into the ground. Why is it moving? It doesn't have to move. Just let it sit there, add the suck animation to the front of it, and keep it still like the background. I don't get it. It's wonderful.
So I have a theory. So almost none of this is actually animated. This is all mocap. And everything that is animated is all stock stuff. Like you'd grab a stock thing for one of our videos. I think that is why weird shit like that happens, because every now and then there is something that you can't mocap, but you also don't know how to make do anything, like this weird machine, or like the trees that just kind of float on top of the grass, or like Nick's big ball that he liked so much earlier. Like, I don't understand why you would even try to make an animated movie if you can't animate anything.
I just say it's dollars. Again, I mean, it's the virus shark thing.
Is it though? How much could they possibly make from something like this?
You could dump this shit in Big Lots, Dollar Tree, Dollar General. You can make so much money off dumb parents.
Redbox. I mean, let's say they've got everybody that works on their movies. Maybe it's like an old school studio system where all of the people that work on their movies actually work for the asylum. So essentially they're paying them either way. They're just getting a salary. And then like this week you're working on this thing.
Yeah.
This week you're working on this thing. And so they're probably, in that case, it's not probably hard to turn a profit.
This can't be, I wouldn't say that this is probably accurate, but according to the numbers.com, it says it made $2,745.
I saw that. I think that was from DVD sales.
Yeah. Which is where I assumed most of their sales came from for this.
A lot of the reviews I read said that parent brought this home in a red box or at like a dollar store sort of situation. Mm-hmm. Makes sense. Man, I guess.
And their whole thing is just trying to get it out there now. They don't care if anyone watches it a year from now.
But the asylum definitely makes money.
They've been doing this forever.
I don't think they've ever lost money on a movie before. No. I'm pretty sure they've gone on record as saying that. Like,
yeah. What if this is? So we've got Scarlett Johansson, Emma Stone. What is it? Who's the dude from Olympus Has Fallen?
Gerard Butler.
Gerard Butler.
Oh, Gerard Butler.
So it's like this is stuff that's happening.
We get all of them
throughout time. Is people suing studios to get the money that they deserve? But what if old Dickie comes in and he tanks Asylum Studios for this film? Because what if Trolland made $50 million and they kept that money from Dickie? That was his cut. Oh, you can get 90 points on the back end. Oh, yeah. No, because they're like, oh, this movie won't make money. And then it sold like gangbusters because Lin-Manuel Miranda was dancing with old Dickie. And everybody's like, ooh, Dick's back. Dick's back. How do we get more Dick?
We love Dick.
Yeah. I kiss Dick.
Hey, Tyler, isolate that.
Yeah.
Get that on the soundboard.
Save that.
Stop killing comedy boy.
I'm going to bring out the fart button.
Well, let me get fart button. You have your bit coming up. Let me finish my bit.
Okay.
So that Joe's got his finger on his hemorrhoid.
No.
Oh, he named it because he knows it ain't leaving. So he might as well make friends.
Yeah. Might as well just try to touch the little fart button here.
Okay. Where am I at? Hey, Jarvik. Something Usopp. Olaf sucked up. Oh, Fenn apologizes again. Fenn does a lot of apologizing for all his shit.
I love Ryan's like, all right, let's see, trolls
because I'm lost.
Like it's funny when it's goofy names.
Yeah, he's doing a presentation of the United Nations about the finding of trolls.
I
believe get knighted.
Is the key to everything.
Slips on a banana peel.
Mr. Ziegler, your contributions to fantasy science have earned you a knighthood. And then she cuts your head off.
You're better than watching this again.
Hey.
Olaf then we cut to Olaf. He's chasing after all the escaping trolls. Meanwhile, Jarvik is sawing through a totem pole. No visible sawing, though, is happening. She's moving this weird shaped blade across the totem pole. They're sawing sound effects, but of course, as trolls.
So at first, it is a full saw. There's a brief moment where it's an actual saw. And then it's like de-rendered into this like weird like floating blade. It looks cool as like a fantasy item. Like
it's like a melted what's that sword from Halo that the elites use?
The energy sword.
Yeah, it looks like that, but like melted down.
Yeah, it's neat, but also
terrible.
It doesn't look sharp. It doesn't look sharp enough to cut through a totem pole. But that's what she's doing. Hayden, Oppenhopper, and Sapsy try to talk Jarvik out of the prank.
Fuck you.
Jarvik resists, saying everyone's going to be at the lake, so it's fine. But they're trying to explain to her. Hayden is like, no. They're not going to be at the lake. They're going to be over here. They've changed plans. So if you knock this water tower over, it's going to kill everybody. She thinks you're fucking lying because humans always lie. And he's like, no, I'm not lying. Fenn is my friend. I want to help you guys. Fenn showed me the beauty of the forest. This is all legit.
You were supposed to prank the humans, not kill them.
Then name the system. I grow tired. Okay, so Hayden then says, he explains, if you drop the tower, you're going to hurt everyone, and that's going to make you the monster that Olaf thinks you are and thinks all of us, all the trolls are. Do you really want that? Jarvik says humans would do that to us, that same old argument, you know. And then Hayden says, well, if you really believe that, you'd have already dropped the tower by now. Jarvik, realizing that it must be true, throws down the saw and anger says, I just want to hit something. Hayden says, well, Olaf is attacking the Warren. Will that do? And Jarvik says, perfect. And does this weird face combination and starts walking toward the camera. And that is where I'm out. Joe Buckley, lead us to the promised land.
Oh, yeah. So, Olaf ended up upside down with his foot in a rope trap, while Fenn's face is way too close to the camera. He takes out like a little pocket knife, and he's able to cut through the rope and then throws in the air like a Looney Tune. But then he falls to the ground and immediately runs into another trap.
Like a Looney Tune.
Looney Tune. While
we're with those tunes that are loony.
Yeah.
He's able to twist himself out of it while the ground animation layer turns instead of him.
So, if we could jump back real quick to exactly the hour mark, boys, could you watch that shot for me and just describe to me what you're seeing?
Okay, so
looks like it's an hour and actually like 6 seconds.
Oh, shit. I apologize. It looks like, okay, we've got 3 trolls walking. And
I didn't catch this the first time I watched. Full disclosure, as soon as my part was over, I turned around and turned on the Tony Hawk remake right here, and I played that for the rest of the time I watched this movie. Because I couldn't. It took me 3 fucking days to get through mine. I couldn't. I couldn't do it.
Are they bushes?
I think they're supposed to be bushes, but they look like they're hovering like 5 feet off the ground.
Okay. So there's this grass animation that is so important to this movie that everything else, it doesn't matter if it floats or clips, that has to stay. What if all those shots are pre-built? They bought those. All these swooping
100%.
crane shots.
Yes. So they went to somebody like we have for effects for our movie, for Butch the Bakers. Somebody overseas, hey, we need like a camp. Somebody probably built this camp. They probably got this done on fucking Fiverr or something. It's a pretty good camp. This is probably
Igor
camp.
or Igor.
Probably Igor. This looks like a decent camp for like, I would suspect like an indie PC game.
Yes.
Where you're a little camper and you got to do camp stuff. But they tried to make a movie there.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Anyway, I'm sorry, Joe.
Oh no, that's okay. That's okay. I don't really mind you interrupting Trolland. That's okay with me.
I didn't think so, and it was relevant. So
yes. So after he falls again, he gets his foot stuck in a bear trap. Fenn tries to offer help, but Olaf runs forward and gets his head stuck in a cage on the ground. Olaf refuses the help, rips his pants, and falls to the ground.
Like, this was the first time I was like, okay, I see the movie. I see it. Because you have a character that doesn't want to accept that the 30 years he's been hunting these suckers down was a waste. And he's just going to keep going and keep going, trap into trap. And it's like, I can see it. I can see the Pixar big eyes, the animation of this character struggling to accept reality. But it looks like shit.
Maybe the only way to go up was to stay down on ground level with the humans.
There you go. Sequel to Up, Topside.
Yeah.
Topside, baby.
So Fenn begs that he only wants to help and that this has gone on for too far between them. But Olaf thinks it's another dirty troll trick and sticks his foot in another bear trap. Fenn is able to convince him to hear them out, and he apologizes for not stopping the other trolls from pranking. Yosef says that he's sorry for almost drowning him as a boy and putting horseradish in his toothpaste. And Olaf explains that he only took the summer camp job to try to prove that he was right about the trolls.
Well, and Yusuf is laughing the whole time. Like he's just like, oh my God, remember when I did like that these trolls are dumb as shit. Like they have no concept of what's happening right now, that this is a breakthrough for human troll relations. And it's like they're still just twisting the knife into Olaf.
Yeah. Hey, yeah, remember that time I replaced all your teeth with butter?
What is it with you and butter today, dude?
They mention it in the movie. They keep mentioning it.
He's covered in butter right now. It's all I can think about. You know how usually he like looks around his room and that's how he comes up with a joke? Right now he keeps looking down and there's just like a half stick of butter sticking out of his belly button.
Well, there's butter all over his monitor, which is why he keeps thinking they're mentioning it. He's like, it's in the movie.
Yeah.
That's the only thing his system can handle now because he fucked up his liver so bad on the last Man with No Brain episode.
I just microwave it and I just drink it. I pour it over ice. I get it nice and cold and pour it over ice.
Butter?
Yeah.
I like microwaving it just to pour it back over ice.
Yeah. All right. That's going to be one of our drinks for our video episode.
Well, I won't be trying it.
Yes, you will.
Yes, you fucking will.
I'm going to make you a butter popsicle, dude.
And I bet you dollars to donuts that scene in that Madonna Willem Dafoe movie where she puts hot wax all over his body. You reenact that love scene with Tad just with the hot butter.
So Jarvik is upset because instead of winning Prank Queen, the other trolls have decided to make peace with the enemy. Trolls and humans can now be friends if they give up the tradition of pranking the humans. Olaf realized that he's wasted years of his life because he thought the trolls are bullies, and he could have used his genius to better mankind instead. Jarvik says that the traps always kept her on her toes. Yosef announces that he never thought he'd see a day when trolls and humans sit beside each other in friendship. So Yosef announces that he never thought he'd see a day.
His name is Yusop. Yusop.
Okay.
Joseph ends up Joseph.
He sees a lot of
Joseph is the most handsome troll of all.
Yeah. Joseph has like a huge dick and he fucks really good and he's a handsome troll.
Yeah.
Stop laughing, Ryan.
Yeah.
I'm trying not to.
It's okay. I can make funny jokes sometimes.
When is this ending? Is it the movie done?
It's very close to being done.
Okay, the trolls. Everyone's happy. The end.
Yes.
How about that? I mean, really, do we have to finish it up?
Well, what do you think, Tyler? What do you think?
I mean, it's just that they get together, they're friends. Just tell us the epilogue. We go back to the page book.
Oh, okay. Fenn realizes that the oldest tree in the forest could not be cut because the heart was too strong, just like his. So then Yusuf decides to make Fenn the elder. Let me see. They ask Olaf what he's planning to do with all his traps now that he's not going to try to hunt down and just fillet the trolls. And he says he's going to try to find Bigfoot.
Yeah.
And they laugh and walk away, but then we see a squirrel just take a ride on like Bigfoot's back.
That ain't no Bigfoot. That's like a low poly werewolf.
Yeah, some kind of wolfman.
God, it was
I thought
ugly.
at first it was a bear, just a really bad bear, and I was like, oh wait a minute, they just said Bigfoot, so I guess that's what that's supposed to be.
Yeah,
but he's got the same liquid bone problem that everybody else in that camp has. He kind of twists.
It's in the water.
Yeah.
Liquid bone syndrome.
Yeah, maybe they got no milk there at the camp. Maybe that's it. They can't like get it like out all the way there.
Well, other spices have been replaced with sugar, so they got no nutrition.
Diggins Adventure Camp.
Those pranks eventually affected everybody.
So Olaf did not become knight, but he did become friends of Yusuf. Jarvik was the last prank queen before the title was retired. And Fenn devises a new competition where they help the campers instead of pranking them.
It's not even a competition because then like Jarvik would absolutely be putting people in precarious situations just to save them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, 100%.
Here, I helped you. I know that somebody invisible pushed you off this ledge, but I'm here to help you up.
What the fuck are you showing us, Trevor?
I don't know. That's yeah, I have no idea. I found that weird. Back in, for any of you listeners who are watching this for some fucking reason, it's on YouTube. When you're back in, what's his name? Olaf's cabin. There's a picture of, it looks like him in
Peter
a wig.
Griffin.
Yeah.
Is
that his wife? Is that his
mommy?
Or his mom.
I would imagine this feels like when we put Joe up in a wig and some lipstick to play his mom.
Yep.
Same vibe. This is Judeline.
Yep.
Judeline.
What are you doing, son? Can I come in your room, son?
Son, are you blackout drunk in there, Joey? Joey.
Did you buff your sheets again?
Joe, did you wet the bed with your buffs again, Joe?
Go wash yourself off in the Jersey Shore.
Go get the hose,
Joseph, I told you to quit puking.
Just swallow it.
Did you also shit yourself or just puke?
No, just puke. I did not shit myself. I was able to. My bowels were sturdy that night.
Because I mean, your body was taking in a lot of stuff.
Oh, sure, yeah.
A lot of greasy food, a lot of alcohol, and your body's not used to that level. So I thought maybe.
No. I got like a great shit tube. I think I'm top notch.
Did you pee in a random corner, Joe?
I did not pee.
Did you lift your leg like a dog, Joe?
No, I did.
He's got a sink, Sean. He pees in the sink.
Yes, yeah. I did take a minute to go pee in the sink.
It's
I
in the
believe.
video. It's all in the video.
So on a scale of malevolent to benevolent.
Yeah.
Fenn got the leadership staff and became the wisest elder of them all. The end. It's a happy ending.
Yeah.
Well, do you know why he was the wisest? Because Dickie trained him.
Yeah.
Hey. That's right.
Yep.
Comedy.
All right, so there you have it, the long, arduous journey through the forest and through the pumpernickel caps or whatever the glow caps, grub-eating trolls were doing in the Trolland on a scale from malevolent to benevolence. And Sean is with us tonight. Sean, you go first.
100% malevolent. Even my kids wouldn't watch this movie, and I try to get them to watch it because I'm a terrible dad.
Where did it fall apart for you? It all started with Trolland.
Those poor boys. They're smart kids, though.
Who's next, Sean?
Smarter than me. I'm gonna go. Let's do Nick next.
Yeah, it's not that the movie's bad. It's that the animation isn't bad. The animation is gross. It's disgusting.
Yeah,
it's
painful.
It's offensive. Honestly, it's offensive that someone would put this out and with the intention of other people seeing it. That thought alone offends me.
If this film is just like Piss Christ.
I gotta Google that. Hold on.
Yep. It's. I mean, there's not much else to.
It's an art installation.
Yeah.
The worst.
He put urine on Jesus.
Oh, I have. Okay, yeah, I know about this. Never mind.
I hate to say something like this out loud, but I feel we could do better.
We could
by just
100%. We could do better.
Googling how to do something, having never done it before. We could do 1,000,000 times better than this.
You know what? Grand Theft Auto 5 has like a pretty good like camera editor thing, like in the game. Like you can move people around, you can like make them do stuff.
Yeah,
we probably should have just used that for this.
The people who made this, they didn't care what they were doing. Normally, we'll watch some low budget garbage, and it's clear that they felt strongly about what they were making. They wanted to do this thing, right or wrong. They loved what they were doing, or at the very least, they weren't trying to. This is none of that.
Nick.
This is it's just offensive and gross, malevolent.
Yeah,
very malevolent. 2 hands. What do you think?
I think that's obviously malevolent. I think we have now spent at least an hour longer on this movie than any single person involved in the production of this movie spent on the movie. That includes the hour and a half of watching it and the 2.5 hours we've been sitting here tearing it apart. We have spent so much more time on this movie and they don't remember it. Daughtry, you could ask, I guarantee you walk up to Daughtry, say Trolland, and he has paid somebody to Men in Black style wipe his memory. He has no idea what you're talking about.
I 100% think that we should get the DVD and we should find Ja Rule wherever he is and have him sign it for us.
That if we could get a signed copy with all of the lead actors, that would make this almost redeemable.
We could probably email him and see, he'd probably do it. He'd probably do it for nothing.
Who?
Let's try.
Joe?
Together, all of our time invested in watching the movie and together in this chat, we have spent over 30 hours on this movie.
And it probably took about 8 hours to animate it. So you figure however long to get the audio. So obviously Malevolent. My throat's been hurting today and I've been kind of maybe getting a head cold or something. And I think it's specifically because of this movie. And that bothers me.
It's the Trolland variant, dude. You're fucked. You are dead.
Well, I mean, it's a cursed film. It's just like The Exorcist, and the people were vomiting and shitting watching that.
I think it might be.
You were the only one person that shit. Several people vomited, but you're like, yeah, and also people were shitting too.
Yeah,
everybody was
weird.
shitting.
There's just people vomiting, but then one person squatted over their popcorn bucket with their pants around their ankles.
Joe, take the microphone out of your mouth.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's why he couldn't vomit.
They were shitting.
Yeah, people. Ugh.
When I can hear your uvula stretch,
slapping around in there, yeah, you gotta chill out, bro.
That's too close.
Okay, I understand.
So obviously, yes, obviously a Malevolent movie. I will never think about this movie again. Arguably, I haven't thought about it since we started talking about it. So I'll go ahead and throw it to the other half of two hands.
Sean shared pictures of his kids watching the movie.
Yeah, as proof that I subjected them to this terror. Yeah.
Oh no, dude, this is gonna be used in a court case someday.
Yeah, let's erase this and forget
poor
it.
Little guy, God, this poor little boy doesn't deserve this.
The boy had to watch the Troll movie.
Oh, he's so cute. He doesn't need to watch this shit. Man, what is there left to be said about Trolland? It's fucking terrible. This is some of the worst shit I've ever seen. This is worse than, like I alluded to before, this is worse than a lot of the shit I had to watch at Columbia in our animation classes. It's the worst thing ever. I would never watch this again, but I would pull this up and see how long somebody could make it through. I think that might be a fun little litmus test, but this is absolutely 100% Malevolent. All 5 bonus points or whatever. I don't know how we're working at this month, but yeah, this is truly one of the worst things I've ever seen. And I don't wish this on anyone else. So, Tyler, I would like to know your words.
Bad,
your
just bad. I hate it. Malevolent.
Very good.
I'm done. I am so done. Joe?
Okay. Well, so I believe a film should basically be like getting a catheter like ripped out, either for good or bad. Like it's gotta leave an impact. It's gotta be either just really good or really terrible.
You believe this?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Is this why you?
The catheter is today? So I wanted to.
Yeah. Is this why you don't watch? Is this why you have such a hard time watching movies? Because you think you're gonna get something ripped out of your
It
head?
absolutely hurts.
Before the movie, he puts a catheter in, and afterwards,
Well, because you can't get up to pee, you have to just watch the movie.
Yeah, you gotta watch the whole thing.
Yeah. Well, I'm like watching Funny Games. I'm just slowly sliding the catheter out of my dick. But I really wanted to hurt you guys during this. I wanted to inflict pain during this competition.
You fucking did it, dude.
Okay, thank you. So yeah, I'm going fully Malevolent as well, and I'll have to see what Ryan has to think.
Well, it's Malevolent. I mean, it's the highest Malevolent that you can give anything. But for me, man, when it comes,
honor.
Yeah, this is and I don't think I've ever given. Yeah, the thing is with movies by the Asylum is similar to Polonia's, and these aren't movies to me. So I don't get as I hated watching it. I was bored, but it doesn't make me as pissed off because these aren't movies. These are product. These are enterprising guys who are just trying to find a way to make quick dollars out of what's popular right now, and they move on. This is content, but these aren't movies. So I don't judge it as anything but being this was somebody's quick thing they threw together to make a few dollars, then they move on. So it's exactly what it shouldn't be given any more credence than that. It's not worth your time. It's not a real movie. Don't even let it piss you off. Don't even tell anyone about it. It's not so good. It's bad. It's not a funny experience like The Room. It's not worth attention. We've given it too much attention right here. So I hope enjoy the episode and then move on. Move on to our next episode. We don't think about Trolland ever again, although we were going to have to fucking talk about it again at the awards ceremony. But I will say, speaking of the awards ceremony, this is going to be nay impossible to top as far as what the rules are.
Yeah.
That's what I felt the most watching this was like, oh shit.
Yeah,
This is it. They won. They won August. August is done.
It is hard.
That's what I was hoping.
To find a movie that is bad, but that doesn't have some sort of entertainment value when you're us. This is what we do and we look for. I mean, we love bad stuff, and we can find the goofs in Sledgehammer and find the fun in Doll Factory and that kind of stuff. So to find something that's legit bad that we can't find anything, and that also requires or satisfies
all the keywords and
it's tough. It's tough. So kudos definitely to Camp Gastronaut on this one, because it's going to be hard to top.
Now, Ryan, I was inspired. I was inspired about a week ago. It wasn't all that long ago, maybe a little over a week. I feel like I have to say this out loud. It is a great idea. I'm totally spoiling it. But I feel like I have to say it because otherwise I'm going to subject myself to pure torture in the future. I told Joe in the midst of this hunt, he should make a movie. He should make a movie. He should make a movie where he just sets a camera down, rolls around in some shit and mud, slaps his belly and his titties. He just runs down Grand Ridge naked, one wide shot, screaming at the top of his lungs. Just whatever he wants to do, and it could be fucking 5 hours. And it would be magical and beautiful. Now, it was a little too late because I was like, oh, God, you'd have to create a poster. You'd have to get it on IMDb. You'd have to write a script because you'd have to go the whole 9 yards. And I feel like I have to say it because it's a great idea. And hey, if anybody wants to do it, do it. I'm not going to fucking edit it. And that's why I feel like I got to say it, because otherwise I'll compel myself to do it next summer or something. And I can't subject myself to that. But it's a great idea for anybody that wants to do it. That's it.
We could just all make one together.
No,
we could just make a regular good movie together.
Yeah, if we're gonna do waste all that time together, we're making something good.
Yeah, trying to make a bad movie is I hate that concept.
Yeah, that's a solo endeavor for you, Joe.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much.
Okay, so in just to get us out of here, we got one last component. Nick and Joe, what were your 5 rage reviews? This is worth 10 points apiece from everybody. These are reviews that are supposed to be atrocious, funny, entertaining, whatever you want it to be. What 5 reviews did you find that really summed up Trolland?
We found some good ones. There's some on IMDb, a couple on Letterboxd.
Okay,
a few good ones on YouTube as well. If those count.
I would say a comment is a review. I mean, most of them are probably saying it's dog shit.
They're short, they're sweet, but they get to the point.
All right, what are your 5?
Beautiful.
Hit us with go from least favorite to favorite.
All right, let me see. Do you want me to like me and Nick go back and forth on it? Like I take one, he takes
fine.
one.
Whatever you want to do.
Okay, I'll send him.
You go first, Joe.
Okay. All right. This movie is actual trash. Literally the worst thing I've ever seen. It's horrid. The animation sucks. The characters are stupid and boring. The story sucks. It all sucks. I really hope for the love of God that you take my word for it and never, ever lay eyes on this horrid beast of an animation. I actually pray at night that God will let this movie rot away and never surface through our mortal world again. This movie scarred me for life, and I will never be the same. At first, I thought Leo the Lion was worst. Then I thought Cargo was the worst. And then I thought Joshua and the Promised Land was the worst, and so on. But this movie truly tops all of that in the awful category. I have literally never seen anything worse. I cry myself to sleep at the thought of this monster that Asylum has created. Asylum is the worst animation studio I've ever seen, and I can't even believe it's legal for these movies to actually be published and set loose onto the world. Just don't watch it, please. I beg you don't. 1 out of 10.
Where was that at?
IMDb. It was by user Kale IMCD11.
This one's gonna be from Kesha is cute on YouTube.
Yeah.
This one's brief. Why they moving like that?
It's a review and a synopsis.
So that's cool.
That's all you need.
Right there.
That's a great tagline.
Yeah.
Why they move it like that?
Get that
I'm
as a pull
curious now.
quote.
I am very interested.
It's right up there with shit sandwich for a nice succinct.
I found one from Meowshin, the meme saint, on Letterboxd. Heartfelt, powerful, awe-inspiring, captivating, and riveting. All adjectives describing every other movie.
Hey.
It's okay.
Got him.
This is from Abigail Hanford on Amazon.
Oh, Abby.
This is the most disturbing animation I have ever seen. I have seen middle school coders do better animation. Unmoving characters in unnatural poses, intense lines delivered through the unmoving mouths and expressionless faces, demonic eye movements, and weird floating over background scenery. Do not watch this. Do not buy this. My kids got it from the library, and I had to turn it off.
Turn the library off.
Yeah.
What's the last one, Joe?
This is immaculate. I will never find the better movie by Maddie Grace 1636 310. That might be your phone number. Don't call it. I love this movie so much. I tape the TV to my face so I can always watch it. I snuggle with my cat babies and watch it nonstop. We should boycott Trolls. They copied this wonderful, outstanding masterpiece. I like to eat wedding dresses while watching this. They are very tasty. My cat babies attack me every time we watch it because they love it so much. This is my favorite movie. I highly recommend. The animations are great and everything is high quality. I would rate this 1,000 out of 10 if I could.
Fuck.
Joe, you didn't have to write a review.
I was going to say, that is a Joe review.
Yeah, that's definitely a Joe review, right?
You'll
Got a
find
bunch of
that
nonsense in it, and
you'll find that many of the reviews of this movie are in fact trolls.
yeah.
And it's interesting.
They're getting
yeah.
clever. They're pranking.
Kind of meta. It's like adaption.
Yeah.
Prankapalooza.
All right. Last but certainly not least, Camp Two Hands. You guys are up next. What is your pick for August Malevolent Madness, and what was your genre?
So our genre was sci-fi.
Ooh.
And the second we were given sci-fi way back in that first episode, I texted Zach and said, we should do Baby Geniuses. So we're doing Baby Geniuses from... Yeah, I know, Ryan. I love you, buddy.
It's not anime. It's Bob Clark. That's what's so. The Baby Geniuses is sad, man. That's Bob Clark who directed that.
Here's the deal. I have. This is no joke. I have a source. One of the babies in Baby Geniuses. Maybe I can get him in on this.
Sean,
please,
Sean.
Yes.
1,000%.
Yeah. It would be like our first guest episode.
No, I'm not making him watch this fucking thing. We're doing a separate episode. I don't know. That's not up to me.
Joe's out. The Baby Genius is in.
No!
If that's a condition, then I retract my statement.
No, I'm not 100%. I know he was in Baby's Day Out. I'm not 100 on Baby Geniuses.
Ooh.
Well, we'll take a Baby's Day Out.
We'll take Chicago. That was John Hughes and
yeah,
the guy who made Angus directed that.
But he was one of the babies.
That's fantastic.
Beautiful.
And he did other baby shit when he was a baby.
But yeah, the 1999, I don't want to say hit, but feature film tagline is Naps Are History. So enjoy that. Also, Tyler grabbed the entire Baby Geniuses cinematic universe.
Oh, the tetralogy.
Yeah, even Baby Geniuses and Ryan, there's 4, buddy.
There's 4 of those?
There's 2 movies, and there was a series that was broken up into 3 movies. So there's 5 movies. God. So
they go to Egypt in one of them or something.
Yeah, there's one about a space baby, like an Egyptian thing, and then there's like a jewel heist one.
I hope Bob Clark didn't direct all of those, man. Because I'm telling you, man, he's Bob Clark.
He directed Super Babies. Baby Geniuses too. I know that much.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. He was a big fan of the babies.
toward the end of his career, he was stuck making movies like that. I mean, this guy did Black Christmas, A Christmas Story, Porky's 1 and 2.
Porky's.
I mean, he made these great. I think Porky's one of the funniest movies ever made. Period.
Porky's 3,
and he didn't do the third one. Okay. But and then toward the end of his career, because he died, but he ended up making these baby genius movies. Ugh.
Oh yeah, his final film was Super Babies, Baby Geniuses 2.
Yeah, it's just.
Damn. Well, heat is on, Camp Cardiff Giant. You guys will have to have your pick by next Sunday. So you've got 1 week, and then you'll announce your pick.
I think.
You have poked the bear.
Oh, I know. And I got to slap that bear's ass real hard.
And I've been watching so much the last couple. I do have a title though, and I'll have to send it to you, Sean.
Yeah, please.
But it's not. I mean, again, like I said, and with even Baby Geniuses, I haven't seen it. I know it's not at Trolls level. No, it's just because to satisfy the summer thing. Because if we don't have summer, we lose how many points?
Like 50.
I mean, it's a ton.
You lose like 100. You basically don't get the 10 points apiece from all the 5 reviewers, and you lose 50 on top of it. So
I do have a title that covers everything.
Don't tell me the movie, Ryan, but remind me what our category is again.
Okay, it's action. Okay, action film. This I'll send you the title. It's available on Tubi. I've watched it 3 times. It covers everything that we need, but I don't know if it's bad enough. So I need you to watch it.
Okay.
I need you to watch it because I've watched some bad shit that would be great, but they don't satisfy the cult, actors. And this one has like 6 of them in it. So
action and summer.
Action summer. It's got to have cult actors in it.
Okay, and cult. Okay.
Ryan, you should pull a Joe, and you should pick 22 Jump Street. Because they go to spring break, and you should just act like Joe. Be like, it's a terrible movie. It's awful.
I would be fully on board with that. I would be 100% because I would be vindicated.
Shut the fuck up, Joe.
I'm vindicated. Yeah.
Okay.
But,
Wow.
Look, this is not my first foray in the shitty B animated movie because like my kids will want to watch something random. They see some shit with a bear on it on Tubi or some random channel. I'm like, okay, put this on. So I've seen some weird, foreign, poorly dubbed animated bullshit, but this trumped all that. So I think because I've gone through that ringer, that it kind of eased up. So like, this was almost. I'm not gonna say like it was god awful, right? But it felt breezy in comparison to some of that crap I've watched because it was so bad.
It dulled the pain at the very least.
Yeah.
Like, it was bad enough because it was entertaining. Like, what's going to go wrong next?
Oh, boy.
It's no big F, I can tell you that much.
No, it's not.
That's true.
All right, boys.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. Big F felt worse than this. That felt worse than this for me. I don't consider this a movie. That's why I don't. But for the competition, it's going to be hard to do.
All right, well, that's it. That's all she wrote, folks. Hope you've enjoyed getting a dump of like 8 reviews at once. So suck them down, fatties.
Yeah. Like a big gulp.
Yeah, you love it.
Like butter over ice.